Good enough to forget to write a post. That's right, we're quote reposting ourselves. Also, I forgot to launch Ghost Chat. It's like it's been a while and I forgot how everything works. They stylize it all lowercase. If you've showed up to chat in the last 33 seconds, hello. Hello, hi, welcome in. I forgot to launch my stream manager. It's here now. Okay, time for the silly fucking go live button. That's right, select from a drop down how long you're gonna be streaming. And other UI decisions that make no fucking sense. Okay, we're here, we're going. Launch that ghost chat. Also, I need to stylize this correct. Hello, welcome in. How have you been? First, it doesn't say it anywhere, but this is the first stream from my new house. I like moved 15 minutes away from my old place. I haven't bought chapters 2 and 3 yet. So we're just gonna do the prologue today and maybe I'll get hooked. Maybe I get hooked and we take a diversion from Myst longer than the one stream I currently plan on diverting. Thank you. It is like my house. We bought this place and it's crazy. Oh, this is gonna be like a no voice acting visual novel, isn't it? I gotta read. Rain sizzles off of neon above me. The summer shower creates a noted uptick in the flickering of holograms down the street. It was probably the worst move I've ever had, but my standards are pretty high. We've had a lot of really smooth moves. This one was merely fine. And then through a bunch of things taking longer than we wanted, we didn't like finish setting up the place until this weekend. But that was mostly just waiting on a delivery that got delayed and some professionals to come hang a TV that I didn't trust myself to hang the TV on that wall. But decent is good. Decent is like the best description. And like I'll accept decent. Decent is more than good enough for moving into my own place. And a slight blunting of the night's ambiance. Emphasis on slight. Lights, cameras, and constant noise. This city's got insomnia with the uneven heart rate to prove it. There's no escaping the second-hand nervous energy of it all, but I'm plenty acclimated. Just a wave of worries cresting on the surface while I hold my breath deep below. Besides, a microdose of nightlife anxiety suits my mood just fine. Because if I'm not careful, this client of mine's gonna die in jail. This is us. It's hard to get away with murder these days. What, do we have precogs? People are still presumed innocent, at least on paper. But by the time they're in cuffs, there's hardly any shadows of doubt left. Yeah, I've played Ace Attorney. Because this whole world's lit up, mapped out, never unknown, and always online. Whether it's incandescent, or neon, or hollow. Whatever. It's LCD, LED, or just the nearest phone screen. There's light shining on every last pixel of the map. And someone's always watching. Solitude's a rarity. Anonymity is scarce. And criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. So you take whatever clients you can get. You don't balk at public defender work, no matter the hour. And should you find yourself in one of the last dark, quiet corners left in the whole world, well, smoke 'em if you got 'em. Not that there's much else I can do. Until my phone. Counselor, your public defender contract has been approved. You are expected at the 254th precinct. Present your ID at the door to enter. Arrive at least 15 minutes early. I'll try. Looks like the paperwork came through. It's nearly 3:15 now. 90 minutes since I took the job. Probably makes it about 2 hours since they finally got smart enough to ask for a lawyer. If they're really smart, they'll have used that time to get some rest. Because now that I'm here, things are gonna get busy. Of the Devil, Episode 0. I don't even know if this is like a one case, one chapter game. And he shall appear. Disable tutorials. Leave tutorials on, probably. We've got a pointer. Oh, we've had a pointer the whole time. I don't have a profile. We don't have a public defender's badge. Shame. Save slots, load slots. No, I want to see what Morgan time means. There's a bunny? There's bunnies in this game? Well, shit. I need to play all of the chapters already. Backlog is history. Okay, so we have shortcuts. No, just put the phone down. Put the phone down, Morgan. We have buttons for everything up there. Precinct 254. It's a goddamn ghost town. With nothing but a hologram for a welcoming party. I'm here about a homicide. High clearance rates be damned. You'd think they'd treat it with a little more gravitas? But whatever. If I'm that unimportant, they've got no right to complain if I take my sweet time checking in. And I should take my time. Information's like cash in my line of work. You gotta spend it to make it. And if you're flat broke, no one will give a shit about what you have to say. So let's see if I can't poke around and shake some change loose. Press the phone button to access the menu. Okay, you didn't have to tell me about this one, guys. You'll earn credit for investigating. Credit is a measure of your information and your credibility. This sounds like hint coins. Don't go broke. I love how much less than 3 there is in this. What the fuck? Okay, that's an aggressive... That is some aggressive SFX, guys. Inspect bench. High traffic hallways, utilitarian furnishing, multiple screening stations. Pragmatic brutalism so textbook it could teach freshman level architecture. You can almost hear the building droning on and on about concrete and iron and hard right angles. The civil planning equivalents of battle scars. From a fight won so long ago, they're starting to look ridiculous. I'm sure it was all very imposing back when it was built, but walking in here now, with crime rates where they are, feels like a hospice ward for heavy-handedness. A data pad? I'll bite. Even when they're more advertisement than article, they can still be informative. In a flowery, roundabout, corporate propaganda sort of way. Articles is... Oh, I have heard about the reading literacy checks. Do I have good literacy? I can't even fucking, like, mumble skip through them because they're gonna test me on it. It's literally gonna be on the test later. Girl who bitches about long journals and mist starts playing a visual novel. Viewers baffled. Declaring the subway tunnels to be irreparably flooded, city engineers announced this week that all plans to drain and repair the system were being suspended indefinitely. Saltwater damage to sensitive electronic cabling and erosion of key tunnel fixtures were cited as reasons for why 89% of the subway system was evaluated as critically compromised or worse. I have to turn off this monitoring. Currently, monitor off. Some days you think to yourself, I'll just test my audio monitoring and make sure the audio works before stream and then not turn it off and wonder why it's so hard to read. Civil engineering efforts will be... Civil engineering... This quote is so strange. Civil engineering efforts will be refocused on maintenance and expansion of the hybrid super infrastructure system that weaves together trams, highways, walkways, and skyscrapers into the canopy, high above our city streets. Reactions to the announcement could be characterized as blasé. It's been years since the subways last ran, and decades since they last ran on schedule. Most citizens have long since given up on ever making a comeback. Online chatter barely reacted to the announcements, with most commenters and voters' attention focused instead on the growing investigations into Councilman Long's campaign finance irregularities. As one of Canopy's major backers in City Hall, Long has often found himself at odds with a small but vocal group of critics that consider it to be an eyesore and an amplifier of light and noise pollution. And with Long having stepped away from his political duties in order to more fully cooperate with investigators for the first time in nearly 20 years, the typically rock-steady political foundation of the Canopy was looking uncharacteristically shaky going into this week. But with subways now officially no longer an option, people and corporations alike have little choice for how they complete their morning commute. This feels Toronto-coded. Fucking arguing over the subway while a city councillor is being investigated for finance fraud. Like, that's Toronto. Does this game take place in Toronto? Cyberpunk came from Canada, after all. Not all reactions to the news have been negative. At least a few bold individuals see this latest report as vindication, and possibly even a rallying cry. Already considered by many to be a rising star in infrastructure solutions abroad, tech startup Subterra made headlines last year with a radical proposal for a system of personal submarine taxi pods. Oh boy, it's Hyperloop. That could make use of the flooded subway tunnels, but momentum stalled when their first prototype for the city came in at a disappointing 3,359% over budget. The one council member was quoted as calling their system mind-bogglingly wasteful and impractical to the extreme. In light of this latest announcement, Subterra has proudly declared their intent to resubmit their proposal package. Across the entire globe, coastal cities like ours have struggled to find... Okay, it's not Toronto, fine. Across the entire globe, coastal cities like ours have struggled to find civil engineering answers to rising sea levels and subterranean flooding that satisfy financial, practical, and aesthetical concerns. Historically, most scientists have attributed this increase in sea level to climate change, though there are dissenting voices. Water rises and falls all the time. For reasons we do not fully understand, are we too It appears that you have 0 free article passes this month. Classic. Ballsy of them putting the paywall there. As if I'd reach for my wallet after having to read a word like aesthetical. Besides, I got the gist of it. The takeaway is that the city will be refocusing its efforts on the canopy. There will be increased scrutiny surrounding the canopy now that there's no plan B. It's a massive project with a massive budget. Lines the pockets of a lot of people, big and small. None of them would appreciate bad press at the moment. Not when Councilman Long's already thoroughly chummed the waters. The medium's cracked in the corner. Looks bad, but my phone's made of the same stuff and I'm rolling the dice every time it falls off the sofa. The stuff was purple. Did I just miss an opportunity to click on something? Could probably null the warranty on one of these things with a loud sneeze. At least it's not broken entirely. Even at this hour, it's still dutifully scrolling through its notifications. This desk is programmed for check-in and information only. That's not notifications. If you are experiencing an emergency, please scream and cry. Please use our universal contact number at number not found. Yeah, please scream and cry. Looks like the usual 1-to-1 ratio of public health alerts and inoffensive pop culture trivia you always get served at state buildings. But there's a few missing persons too. 1 year of Silver Plan coverage, courtesy of Caduceus, as a reward for any... Silver's no joke. Family must be getting desperate. An actual police lineup. It's like I walked into a museum. But museums tend to feel expensive and clean. Dusty, forgotten, probably lots of unpacked boxes. This homicide department's more like an attic. Hard to believe that they were ever so busy that they had witnesses making IDs in the lobby. Then again, it's hard to believe they were ever doing lineups in the first place. Are you certain? Wasn't it dark? Did you know that during traumatic events, memory formation is blah, blah, blah? Poking holes in that setup must have been like shooting fish in a barrel, altering billable hours. Hi, Dev. It's a Dev. There's a Dev here, everybody. But there's no room to sow doubt anymore. Not when a modded witness can just submit their testimony as a video recording. Oh, great. There's fucking pervert glasses in this setting, too. It's all very pulled from the headlines. That's the phrase I'm looking for. We've got Hyperloop. We've got transit development. I'm assuming their phone didn't automatically file a police report for them. We've got them calling a shot that I'm going to say comes true in the next 6 to 8 months. All right. I've taken in all the scenery and learned as much as I can. Wow. 6 monthos. 6 months. Thank you. Thank you for the sub. This is an interesting way to measure months. Who am I to judge? It booted up fine. So far, so good. Good morning. Morgan, here for the public defender contract. Could you please provide your name and... Great! Please stand still for a moment. I wouldn't call Intake Hollows charming, more like harmless. But that's probably what the designers were aiming for. People don't mind a quirk or two in their tech so long as it never speaks out of turn. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble placing you. Could you please provide your name and date of birth? So far, so good, was it? Scan my card. No biometrics for you. Say, why don't you just scan my ID card? Great. Now, could you just confirm your date of birth for me? Why do they even bother asking? My birthday's on the damn ID card and my profile. Is it on your profile? December 26th. AB Neg. Are we going to use that information? Probably not. Oh, she likes puzzles. She can fall asleep in any position. Couldn't be me. A coffee decaf. Couldn't be me. Okay, articles is literature. The purple was... Okay, the purple is terms you can click on to read. Conductive resin. Industrial polymer capable of programmed electrical conduction. Though it outwardly resembles plastic or glass, conductive resin is actually an electromagnetic polymer used in a wide variety of stationary or portable devices, where its unique properties allow it to act as both a display and a processor, enabling ultra-thin or even transparent technologies. There are upwards of 100 different patented varieties of conductive resin, each intended for different use cases, industries, and environments. But they're all fairly lightweight and fragile, except for the small handful formulated for military and security applications. Because of its widespread use in high turnover products, such as datapads and smartphones, producers of conductive resin are frequently accused of engineering obsolescence by consumer rights groups, though these claims have never been proven before a court. I can't click the link. I can't click the link in the hypertext. What the fuck? Holograms, 3D image formed by light. Enabled by specialized projectors or mediums like conductive resin, holograms are graphical displays that appear three-dimensional to the human eye when viewed from any part of a face. Of a face range of at least 180. An effect known as the Watterson illusion phenomenon. I think that's real. I think I'm getting 999 dat where I read a phrase that is real. Yes, I'm looking it up. Okay, no, they made it up. It's fictional. They fact or fictioned me. Originally patented in late 2059. What year is it? What year was Morgan born? Unclear. Do we have a date? We don't have a date. Oh god, it could be. Somebody could watch this and be like, I gotta coin it. I gotta find the thing. Originally patented. We did find Ice 9. That did happen. It's not nearly as interesting as the Ice 9 from the book. Anyways, originally patented in late 2059, Watterson's phenomenon was initially used exclusively in the adult entertainment industry. That tracks. Holograms did not become widely adopted as an advertising tool until the much maligned holiday season of 2061. 2 years? That makes sense. After which laws restricting the presence of holograms in public spaces were passed with uncharacteristically universal support. The one thing everyone can agree on is ads that are too annoying. We're sorry to see that you've installed a subroutine on this device to disable and highlight our recommended premium external links. We understand your drive for personalization, but unauthorized tech impacts our ability to serve you best. Most relevant consideration possible. Consider disabling your subroutines so we can serve you a more tailored browsing experience. I will not be doing that. We've already refused biometrics. We are also refusing cookies, datapads, a mid-sized portable electronics. I don't think this is going to be on the test. Can I buy phone customization? I cannot buy Morgan Time. But I could buy a little cat or a little dog. And I can't buy the rabbits. I want to buy the rabbits. This menu doesn't matter until we finish chapter 2. And I skipped text again. I'd have to be a world-class airhead to get this question wrong. No problem. They might actually put it on the test. Never mind. Based on this, information in that dialogue could be on the test. It's December 26th. Perfect. Good morning, Morgan Counselor. Thank you for your timely arrival and for taking on this public defender contract. If you're ready to speak to your client, you can proceed to counseling quarter 3C. Is that what we're calling it now? You mean the interrogation room? I'm sorry to have caused any confusion. My vocabulary is regularly updated to better reflect state standards. Don't sweat it. I can't keep track of every new euphemism either. They could call it involuntary wellness check room if they like. Doesn't change the way it makes a person feel, sitting in a stifled box of one-way panels. Nothing to see but their own reflection, dully warped across gunmetal walls. Morgan, counselor. Can I help you with anything else? Heads up. Choices that progress the story will cause other options to shrink. Choices that will take the conversation down side paths before returning to this point will not. Because of the article you read earlier, you've unlocked an additional choice in this dialogue. Read and examine every opportunity to build up your knowledge and get the most out of every conversation. Yeah, so no thanks is progress. Why the disrepair was unlocked. What are you? What are you? I'm a smart user interface, proudly sold by Noble Electronics. Thank you for asking. If you're interested, I could send you a link with information about our subscription packages. Just sign up now. Just sign up now and we'll give you 1 month free. Should I send you a link? No, sorry. That was a mean question to ask. I know the city's not terribly concerned with the lower wards, but this is a police station. Why is that so goddamn dusty? This facility is currently undergoing renovations. Since when, the 60s? It has been 22 months since the timetable was last updated. They really don't see a lot of action around here, do they? I'm sorry for any inconvenience you might have encountered. I'm adaptable. What about you? They ever gonna fix that crack? You're gonna make her sad. Thank you for asking. It has not interfered with my work. Well, that's all that matters, right? That'll be all. Thank you. You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office through the door to your right. Thanks. But I think it's just me for now, so you could go on break if you like. Can she? Automated dependents do not take breaks, Morgan, counselor. Then what were you doing before I walked in? Contemplating my never-ending existence as billboard? You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office. Through the door to the right, thank you. Ads don't get breaks, and they don't get my jokes. Noun, the legal designation for any... Okay, they are intelligent. That makes me sad. Oh no. Abbreviated as AD and referred to in common conversation as ads. Automated dependent is a catch-all term encompassing robots, intelligent programs, interactive holograms, and androids. Ads are present both digitally and physically in every industry and nation on the planet, assisting in everything from data management to physical labor. In the mid-21st century, lobbyists pushed through new tax classifications to define intelligent machines that were neither salaried employees or mere equipment. Because it afforded tax breaks and later tariffs, the term became so commonly used that it spread to all branches of the robotics industry. When did this come out? Of the Devil Prologue release date? Did they fucking nail AI becoming a catch-all term for everything because it's beneficial to label everything as AI? 2022? Not a fully called shot. They were in it a little bit. But 2022 was far enough back that this is like really clear-sighted vision into like what AI is going to become. The term became commonly used, spread to all branches of the robotics industry, from which point it began to penetrate into everyday speech and pop culture. Some sociologists argue that the term owes its popularity not simply to its brevity and prevalence, but to its ability to draw a distinction between the commonplace, robots, androids, smart UIs, and the internationally illegal artificial intelligences. Searching for this term may incur an account flag. Read more about how we cooperate with authorities to combat disinformation here. We can't click on the links, but I want to know, hey of the devil, hey Ninth Circle Games, what the fuck is an AI then? If there's is an AI just like untethered? Guys, you can't leave me hanging. I want more. I need more lore. They don't get my jokes. But it's usually the humorless types that are the most fun to mess with anyway. Eyes gone bad or something? A voice? No, voices coming from down the hall. Compared to yours? Probably. Thank God I stopped for directions. A building this empty, the desk could have just told me to follow the echoes. One voice sounds older, rougher, and decidedly low energy. Appreciate you worrying about me. God forbid I try to be serious. Well, the other rings with youthful indignation. It's not like our job is important or anything. Definitely cops. And at this precinct, at this hour, they might be the only two living, breathing people in the whole complex. Because why else would you bother to print all that out? One document or 100 looks the same on a data pad. Anytime you question a suspect, you need to have a heavy file in hand. Makes them think you know them better than their priest, their mother, their big brother. I wasn't going to say that. So how many of those sheets were blank then? No red carpet tonight, officers? Good? Good, cop? Oh, sorry about that, ma'am. We don't keep many extra hands around at these hours. Probably faster to let the desk handle intake anyway. Mostly cheaper. You the lawyer? I am. Morgan Esquire, pleased to meet you. Same here, counselor. Kasim London. And the ball of sunshine here is my partner, Farrah Reyes. Ball of sunshine? She certainly is. Give me profiles. Bad cop and good. Bad cop. See, you get it. You understand. Wait. I can't use that information. I can't use this information for anything. Homicide detective first class. I guess we could probably use their likes and dislikes in conversation. He's who's the guy? There's a servant in Fate Grand Order who his whole gimmick is liking bangs, and it's insufferable. Homicide detective third class. Is everybody in this screen faded out color-wise? Yes. Likes rice, limes, automotive history. Liars, small plates, cheap people. Hey, Mr. Squall. Her right eye is an OS Iris Elite 86. Mind if I call that Iba? Mind if I call that Iba, Farrah? Mr. Squall? Mr. Squall, do you need to come up on my lap? Is that why you're screaming? Oh, big man. Sorry if we kept you waiting. Chatter between the departments has been hectic all night. It's no trouble. Gave me time to enjoy my cigarette. Cigarette? Like tobacco? What are you, 80? She can't be more than a few years younger than me. Ahem. We're the detectives in charge of this particular case. And it looks like tonight we're also your humble guides to this illustrious homicide department. Apologies in advance for any cobwebs. Pretty sure I've seen this London character around the courthouses before. He never struck me as more than just some old-timer. But I suppose being an old-timer is an accomplishment in and of itself in his profession. Sunshine is definitely a new face, though. Rigid in her posture and her attitude. 3 in the morning and her shirt still looks ironed. Freshly promoted, maybe. 2 whole detectives working at these hours. Sounds serious. Unless you were just the first to arrive on the scene. No, we're not nearly that timely. Yeah, we know he's late. Uniforms responded to the emergency calls within a few minutes. Calls, plural, must have been quite the commotion. Look around, you think we're the first to arrive for anything? She's not wrong. We were only tapped after circumstances at the scene indicated involvement with an ongoing investigation. Our ongoing investigation. Not very subtle, is she? But I may as well bite at this point. So, you suspect that this client of mine is involved in some separate criminal activity? Wait, did they really not? No, I guess they wouldn't put it in a public defender's briefing. I don't think we got any briefing. Look, consider this a little professional courtesy, a fair warning, yeah? That's the Heartbreak Killer in that room. That's the Cyclops Killer. I mean, legally distinct cyberpunk murder mystery visual novel game. And we've got the bastard dead to rights. So if you're kind, you'll help him plead it out. And if you're smart, you'll pass this shitstorm onto some other night owl and go back to bed. I'm not feeling particularly kind or smart at the moment. I love her. I love her already. So perhaps in the meantime, you'd be so polite as to fill me in about this Heartbreak Killer. Act like you don't know nothing, and they will spill it. They cover utilities at the rock you live under. Is there a problem? You're seriously not familiar with HK? Never heard of him. I've heard enough of him for a lifetime. That name has been plastered all over the city for weeks. Their crimes wavering between breaking news and urban legend. Their presumed goals flip-flopping from unadulterated anarchy to unappreciated vigilantism. I really hope it's for fun and profit. And about something so low stakes too. Like, she could deliver this exposition in dialogue. It happens all the time in these games. But she knows that it's better if we make the cops do it for her. Everyone's indulging in the exact kind of armchair detective speculation that I can't stand. But right now, I need to figure out exactly how much the police do or don't know. And when it comes to cops, I always get better results playing dumb than I do acting smart. I take it he's a repeat offender? Was it the killer part that tipped you off? You must have at least heard about his MO. Media's gone crazy with it, along with everyone else. One bullet straight through the heart, body left to lie where it falls. Hence the name Heartbreak? Oh, cool. This is the most The World Ends With You sprite I've seen since I booted up The World Ends With You. Occupation, criminal. Likes, killing. Dislikes, getting caught. You don't know that. Maybe he'll get off on it. Favorite color, probably red. Zodiac sign, not into astrology. Rewards suspended due to influx of false reports. That tracks. Even in the surveillance state, they can get a boatload of false reports. Not exactly creative, but amidst the swirl of every other 100-word article out there, catchiness trumps originality. What you won't read online is that all 6 of HK's victims were shot by the same gun, without even needing to reload. Horrible to say, I know, but 6 for 6? That's pretty good shooting, isn't it? Hitting the bullseye at the shooting range is good shooting. Doing it 6 times in a row is great. But shooting 6 people with accuracy like that, it's a whole different beast. It takes a certain kind of monster, a real freak. His pulse probably didn't even rise. I see. That's a pretty terrifying thought. I should really start paying more attention to the news. How I managed to miss 6 murders? Well, you can only blame yourself for missing 5. Pardon? You're still not getting it? HK's 6th victim was found a few hours ago, when we caught the son of a bitch red-handed. So you're convinced that my client is this Heartbreak Killer. They really fell on this. They could have kept this from us, and it would have made life way harder. So you're convinced that my client is this Heartbreak Killer, and tonight was just his latest crime. That's a serious accusation with very serious consequences. I take it you have serious evidence to back that up? I was being literal, counselor. Red-handed. When we found your client, he was covered in her blood. That doesn't... Whatever. Well, that's not good, is it? What you say certainly sounds compelling. Is that lawyer talk for open and shut? But even if that's the case, how does one crime scene make him look good for 6 murders? It's all there in the discovery files, and the ARCs, of course. Augmented Reality Crime Scene is an investigative tool in which data harvested by the sensors worn on first responders is used to reconstruct a digital copy of a pristine crime scene. programmed and distributed by a small number of tech corporations and frequently modified or even personalized by the local municipalities. ARC systems are used by every major police force, most insurance investigators, and many law firms. After its introduction in the early 2060s, the technology briefly came under public scrutiny when independent news organization UMC released a series of reports claiming that ARC's data was regularly edited by corrupt officials to erase state secrets. Its body cams. These reports were later found to be fake. What? Were they? Were they found to be fake? Or did those reports get officially discredited via no evidence? UMC was exposed as a subsidiary of a cell corporation within Lambda Work Solutions, who were marketing a number of alternatives to ARC's technology at the time. Okay, never mind. They're probably right that the reports were faked, but the reports were also definitely true. Board members at Lambda denounced the actions of said cell and offered assistance to their former competitors in suing leadership at UMC, but the proceedings and settlements in those lawsuits remained sealed. We definitely haven't seen that in real life, constantly, everywhere, forever. Oh, Mr. Squall. The part that the cats haven't settled into yet about this new place is where they like to sit while we're in our office at our computers. It's like there's a little blanket corner behind one of the desks, and it's a perfect spot for one or two kitties to just sit and relax and be quiet. It's like they forget that the blanket fort is there for them every time they come into this room. I currently have a deaf cat screaming at me for attention. If I give him some scritches, he might settle down on the blanket pile beside me. I don't think that was enough to settle him, but he'll chill out on his own. Join the local net on your phone and we'll turn over everything you need. I'll bet. Thanks for that, detective. I'll be sure to read it over. But if it's all the same, could I ask you two some questions while I've got you here? The hell kind of attorney wants to interrogate the detectives? This kind of attorney. You're just that pleasant. Come on, sunshine. Not like we're going to be punching out anytime soon, right? Whatever. Let your client stew in interrogation all night if I care. You mean the counseling quarters? We're at your disposal, counselor. And by we're at your disposal, I mean show me lore about the room. Like, I can't keep track of it all, but clearly fully kept track of it. My girl is so full of remembering just enough to be a bitch out about it. Oh my god, Mr. Squall. Please. Please, I'm trying to engage with the content. You're a wonderful little guy, Squall. But you don't understand. You don't understand about the crime we're gonna solve. Barren, stark, and uninviting, this must be Reyes' desk. Keeping your workstation neat and tidy is admirable, but I can't spot a single mode of personalization. Is she so new she hasn't had time to unpack, or is she really that uptight and boring? Both, maybe. Okay, there's Mr. Late. Oh no. We're about to get tested again. Latest Noble androids receive warm welcome. Bolstered by strong earnings report and surging sales of the Animate 16, Noble Electronics stock rose a stunning 3%. Is that good? Is that good in real life? I passed the first one. The first one was really easy. The reading comprehension tests are the only thing I know about this game going in. I know it's Ace Attorney, and I know there's reading comp. To a new record high. While Noble's latest iteration has yet to surpass the sheer popularity of its predecessors, an increased profit margin has left Noble's shareholders very enthused. Many investors were skeptical when, at their now infamous 2084 trade convention. This is the most recent date. I need a notes page to keep track of the devil facts. Because I don't know what year it takes place. Noble announced that the 16th line would be the first generation of androids to feature over 50% organic components. So-called warm androids, which at the time only saw demand in health, senior, and childcare sectors, were looked down upon as impractical due to increased maintenance costs, cuts, scratches, bruises, and the like. And while some critics voiced concerns that fringe religious or traditionalist groups might find warm androids controversial, more business-focused minds feared that Noble was alienated its customers in the industrial and military sectors in order to cater to civilian consumers, users that viewed their androids from across the room and not from above the factory floor. However, as has often been the case in the last decade, Noble's doubters were proven wrong. The Animate 16 is poised to break profitability records, with no signs of slowing down, and many industry analysts predict that these once rare organic androids will completely replace their more robotic predecessors in daily life within the next 3 to 5 years. As described in the earnings report, much of the 16th line success, and indeed the success of Noble's androids in general, can be attributed to the remarkable lifelike, personable charm of their products. And by all accounts, that charm can be attributed to the work of Noble's famed lead programmer, Dr. David Asher. Lead programmer is the understatement of the century, said Noble brand ambassador Lucy Dees on stage at their latest #Noble Industry Weekend. It's because of his Turing solution. That implies... Are they implying Turing, like... No, I'm thinking about the stopping problem. Yeah, no, are they implying something about a stopping problem here? Every Noble product, from the sleekest assistants to the most advanced intensive care technicians, are so beloved and trusted by our customers because they're harvesting data in your home, probably. Well, his reputation was on... Sorry, that's mean to the androids. The androids don't deserve that. They're probably intelligent, but they're not AI, and I'm still scared at the dividing line there. While his reputation was on full display at the event, Dr. Asher himself was nowhere to be seen. He's always been reclusive, but he's become a genuine hermit in recent years. Are we really to believe he's still... Hey fam, looks like you're not logged into this device. Want to put in your account info so we can help you keep reading? He's in the news again. It's no wonder. Can't spit without it landing on a piece of Noble tech these days. So I've consumed all of these, except for... I haven't consumed any Ghost in the Shell or Bakemonogatari. I'm curious where the JoJo's gonna come in, though. That's a lie. I've already figured out where JoJo's gonna come in. I am much more likely to get around to it soon now that there's a Science Saru Ghost in the Shell, because I do want to see both of them. I've just been putting it off for years. Can't spit without landing on a piece of Noble tech these days, especially not where the state's involved. Oh yeah, what I was gonna say, JoJo makes sense if it's JoJo Part 4, but I hope it's somehow Steel Ball Run. I hope somehow this is actually about horses. Don't know if they'll bite when it comes to warm androids, though. For government use, they're just... too frail seems more real, because governments will overpay for stuff. All androids undergo wear and tear, especially if they're directing traffics or suppressing crowds. So if these warm androids bleed pink all over themselves every time they take a rock to the cheek, it's just an endless stream of bad photo ops waiting to happen. I didn't even realize that was the reading comprehension check. You shouldn't have cleaned up so much just for little old me, Detective London. Someone really needs to introduce this guy to a filing system, or just a stapler. Paper documents scattered about lazily alongside actual photographs. Either he's really old-fashioned or really paranoid about data leaks. Probably both. Oh, he doesn't look like the paranoid type. Yeah, governments love to. They'll spend so much money on useless bullshit, and very little on the useless things. Well, orderliness aside, I say this as I can, like, look down the hill from my house at a train line that is massively delayed because of one government promising money to a project, another government starting the project, and then that money getting fucking cut. Still mad about the green line. It should be so much faster. Some things are better in paper, I'll give them that. Okay, is there any step ladders? Can I have VSync? Excuse me, devs. Sad, no VSync. I need to get a bot that actually supports a lurk. It's name a more iconic duo than municipal governments and fucking over railway projects. Granted, this was the province that really fucked ours. Also, enjoy your lurk, Dev. I hope you have fun. I hope you stay cool. I hope there's lots of ice in your apartment. Loose wires, missing panels, an aircon system that probably sweats more than the people it's supposed to cool. Speaking of which, no room in the budget for making the office not look like shit, huh? I expected to find a lot of belt tightening and homicide, but I didn't think their operation would be this bare bones. They've got a stunning clearance rate, and they work fast. Guess the city sees that and just assumes their job is easy. Maybe their job is easy, what with our dear doting surveillance state eliminating so much of the footwork. But if your wheels don't squeak, you don't get your palms greased. So homicide ends up as the only state department with a shrinking budget. A dumping grounds for the police force's most unambitious and least popular. Okay. Nothing else jumps out at me around here. I have a better idea of who I'm dealing with at least. Now I need to check out the crime scene data. I should have been sent a link. You've been granted access to state files regarding case KL 43351. Reply C to confirm. I just reached out to my keyboard. Confirm. You need to reply C in order to confirm. Am I talking to a person? I am an automated dependent. Ads are usually more polite. Our personalities are tailored to suit our users' preferences. So the state likes you to be a little authoritarian. You need to reply C. C. It's case sensitive. They're bratting at each other. They're both brats. Thank you. Link to the thingy. Alright, if I project from my phone, I too will brat at the chatbot. Don't you worry about it. Augmented reality crime scene. Wow, it was toasty. 27? It's 24 degrees here right now. It's been 27 nonstop and it hurts. It's been hotter than that, is true. All right, let's see what the police have and what the police have and what they think is important. They don't think this strange pink box is important. They don't think that this clock on the ground is important. Okay, well, this is clearly the most important thing. The victim's body. Cause of death, ballistic trauma, class 4 blood loss, atrium and aorta. Single gunshot wound to the heart. In brief, death was instantaneous. No injuries anywhere else, and no blood or skin under her nails. Blood spatter, forensics, and all that other good stuff tells them she was shot from there. So the killer was standing in the doorway when they fired. It doesn't make sense for the killer to have blood on their hands, then. Literally, at least. The murder weapon. A revolver found right next to the body. 6 empty casings found in each of the 6 chambers, meaning the gun's been fired 6 times. Looks like the crime scene techs practically disassembled the damn thing. But all they found were fingerprints belonging to my client. So he was found with the police, with the murder weapon, right in front of the body. I don't even know where to start. Highly prejudicial would be an understatement. A stand-up mirror shattered and knocked over. Real glass, no screens or cameras here. It was hit hard enough to come unattached from its arm, while shards of glass were scattered far enough to land on the victim's body. What a mess. Shards of glass were on the victim's body, you say? Isn't that notable? This fell after the victim was killed. Oh, it's a vase. I thought it was a very strangely proportioned bat. This vase got tossed aside at some point, and yet there's not a scratch on it. Must be pretty damn durable. Isn't art supposed to be delicate? Maybe it's making a statement. That's all the big ticket items. What about the security? Looks like the apartment was unlocked all night. It's not uncommon for people their age in a neighborhood like this, but no signs of forced entry only hurts my client's case. What about the rest of the room? There's not much else flagged here. Just a lounge chair that got thrown and whatever this is. Unidentified ceramic debris? Flag is irrelevant? That's their technical assessment? Guess even crime scene techs weren't sure what to make of it. Okay, that's everything that the police highlighted. But did I miss anything? Let's look. I want to look at the calendar. Oh, they mean me. The hell is that? Something in the victim's hand? How the hell did... It's a pill minder. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday is open. I guess this could be Thursday. It's the weirdest pill organizer I've ever seen. Some immune adjusters, NSAIDs, and triprexisone, a synthetic glucocorticoid medication. Because, like, it doesn't matter too much that they're not specific, because I guess maybe it could, because some people they might have specific pills for specific days. I say this in my experience as somebody who takes the same pills every day. I remembered when I got home, I'm being called out. Tuesday is the open one, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You're right, Tuesday should be the open one. In my head, Thursday is always R because of, I think, my university scheduler. My university scheduler showed Thursdays as R to differentiate. Taken daily to reduce rejection symptoms like phantom pain and generalized itch. The autopsy said her tox screen was clear, but it's not like it matters. She could have swallowed every medicine cabinet in the city and it wouldn't change the cause of death. It's odd, but ultimately irrelevant. Everything else here is all very incriminating, but the kicker is everything that's not here. No out-of-place DNA, footprints, crumbs? Showing results for Internet of Things. What does crumbs have to... Okay, crumbs. It does have to do with it. Internet of Things refers to the network data sharing that goes between all the countless electronics that we monitor ourselves with. That's not how I want to use my Internet of Things. I just want to, like, have a remote control that works on multiple things in my house. Phones, computers, security systems, biofeedback devices, body modifications, and prosthetics. So biofeedback devices isn't relevant to this person. For a second, I was thinking the gluco whatever medicine was diabetic. But she said it's for phantom pain, so it has to do with prosthetics. And of course, automated dependence all compromise small but vital parts of this network. Without IoT's ability to collect, process, and share information, massive opportunity costs build up as individuals, governments, and private businesses miss out on the valuable insight that their data has to offer. One of the coolest ways that IoT improves our lives is through the usage of crumbs, small packets of data containing your own unique identifying information. Throughout your day, as your own IoT devices say hi to other devices, they'll leave beside crumbs as a parting gift. Crumbs allow for paperless identification and payment, and help the government manage human and vehicular traffic. Crumbs lets you see where you've been so you can see where you should go. Want to start leaving crumbs the right way? Don't worry, crumbs are enabled by default. What if cookies made me want to die? Holy shit. What if cookies were the worst thing possible? Not interested in sponsored search results? See further with a premium account. Oh, it hurts. Okay, so there's not enough IoT in the room to be normal. Nothing that points towards anyone but my client. Well, I've done more with less before, but not much more. I'm really gonna have to sing for my supper this time. Excellent. Glass shard. Mirror was low tech. That part is all what we saw. Weighty and sturdy, it remains featureless. Oh, is it reorganizing them as I read them? 6-chambered 10 mil, well-maintained and old. My client's name is Flat, and it has their left-handed fingerprints on it. Pillminder, common brand of Pillminder, found in the victim's grasp. Contains a number of medications. The case's clasps are difficult to open. And we already know the victim had some kind of prosthetic. We assume the victim had some kind of prosthetic. Ceramic debris of indeterminate origin found at the crime scene by the western window. Autopsy, we love these. Left atrium and aorta. I feel like if I knew a shitload about heart, like, biology, I could figure out what kind of gunshot angle this implies. In my head, I guess it could have pierced the top and front of the aorta and into the heart. This doesn't actually give me any information as I think back to biology. Handwriting at the bottom of the scanned document. Same handiwork as previous 5. Lab messaged to confirm ballistics match 2. Victim was shot from the doorway. No unexpected DNA, crumbs, fingerprints, no evidence of digital tampering. It's really still confirming. We read that. It's really just still confirming about how precise the aim would have been. Who the hell's messaging at this time of night? First person who comes to mind is, I suppose it could be something important. Red. What couldn't wait till morning? Good news, of course. I got a job for you. That's a pretty cheery way to tell me you violated parole. Oh, not that kind of job. Besides, I've been covering my tracks by texting about it. This is something different. Kind of thing I can't handle with just a keyboard and a phishing scheme. I need you to sue my kin teacher. Not that kind of lawyer, sorry. Hey, at least let me finish. What did they do? Make me run laps. Not illegal. Let me finish. They made me run laps. Even though I said I had a stomachache. Even though I had tummy hurty. Set. Gotta be like youth endangerment. Depraved indifference or some kind of shit. Sounds like you've already got a strong case. Try self-representing this time. What's with the blow-off? Nice phrasing. Oh wow, I'm laughing so hard right now. See? Is that your mugshot? I wasn't not gonna get a copy of my mugshot and use it as a reaction. Glad you found a use case. But I'm working right now, so anything cool? Homicide. A sextuple homicide. Cringe. Homicide is cringe. Wait, what kind of homicide? Is it HBK? Who's HBK? Is that kind of morbid? Is that the kind of morbid thing your kids your age talk about? I'm doing the thing. I know she means heartbreak killer, I promise. Teens my age. And yeah, we can read. Compared to the corrupt shit in the headlines, old-fashioned murder is like Hardy B is like quaint. Old-fashioned murder like Hardy B. I love this kid. This kid rules. It's not heartbreak. Then why'd you take the job? You see the 98% conviction rate as a challenge or something? You taking up a lost cause? Probe knows work? It's pro bono. That was autocorrect. You know, they give lit homework for a reason, right? Like in the hit video game Of the Devil. This is borderline concern-making. Maybe you really are a bleeding heart. Or just a sucker. I love minute facial reactions in the text reactions. I'm not a sucker. Nice phrasing, lol. You should go to bed, Fran. Tomorrow's Sunday. I can stay up if I want. Tomorrow is Sunday. Because today is Saturday. What's with the Carpe Diem shit? It's nearly 4 a.m., kid. You've got school in like 3 hours. Shit. Hardy B. It is literally not Saturday in that day in 2086. That's a good point. The article did say this would be this year, wouldn't it? SMH, they didn't check their calendars. How far off is the date? Maybe they're making a joke about like not changing from a Julian calendar, because there's enough different calendar systems in the world. There might be one where it's Saturday in 2086. Repeat offenders may be good for business, but that kid's bad for my blood pressure. Important text message, I take it? Just your typical teenage drama. So then, if you wouldn't mind filling me in on a few details. Okay, cool. We can read all of them. I love to read all of the text. I'm trying to think of a funny way to refer to the Cyclops killer and coming up blank. To put the Cyclops killer in the serial killers band. I don't remember the exact. It's like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I wonder if it's gonna mean something, because we don't have the full game. This could be a plot. This could be like a mystery plot thread. So how about the basics? What exactly has my client been charged with? Your client, Carlos Backer Flat, was arrested on the scene at 9:50 p.m. Using his middle name already, they really do think he's a serial killer. The charge being first-degree murder of his girlfriend, a Miss Diane Dawn. First degree, that's increasingly rare, to say the least. It's rare for us to get handed anything but crimes of passion around here. City's got damn near more cameras than people, so you gotta be really, really stupid to try and get away with murder. Well, Heartbreak's gotten away with it 6 times. So what's that make him? 5 times, and that makes him insane. I was gonna go with extraordinary. Let's split the difference and say he's extraordinarily insane. Morgan, you've started saying you've started saying he for Heartbreak. You would have a much better time following your case through if you referred to them as they. Because you don't know. Being more unclear about what we believe about Heartbreak would be helpful to making the police buy in. Carlos Flat, we still don't have a picture. 2 civil disturbances, first-degree homicide on this charge. Registered at birth. For what? like the birth registry? modifications, industrial class 4 mods, lots of other missing information. Victim Diane Dawn was a 27-year-old agricultural genetics researcher for Perigee Laboratories. Found shot in the heart of the bedroom of the apartment she shares with Carlos Flat. No previous connections with the other Vics. But nut jobs like that aren't renowned for their ability to think ahead. So what makes you think this was premeditated? How about the fact that he stalked and killed 5 other women as a warm-up? A warm-up? 5 previous bullets, 5 previous victims. None of them knew each other, lived near each other, worked in the same fields. Weeks of digital autopsies crawling up and down their online profiles. Nothing. So this serial killer chose his victims at random. If they have nothing in common, yeah, nothing in common at all, other than they all look like cousins. The physical similarities are striking. All 5 prior victims were young women with brown hair and eyes around the same height, comparable weight. Well, those features aren't exactly uncommon. Couldn't it be a coincidence? If you really believe that, you should quit your job and start buying lotto tickets. 5th of June, 2086, early hours of Wednesday instead of Saturday. HK's got himself a type. Anyone can see that. You really gonna try and tell me you don't see the resemblance? I mean, I haven't seen the other pictures. A young woman, brown eyes. Can't tell how tall she is from a portrait, but I can take the hint. So you think what exactly? That Carlos Flat wanted to kill his girlfriend so badly he went out and shot 5 other women first? Hey, if the shoe fits. If the shoe fits, then you put the shoe on the... What Sunshine means is that it's not uncommon for killers to displace their violence from people close onto them onto outlets with fewer consequences. Drifters, loners, strangers, workers. He was probably building up the nerve for tonight by practicing the shooting on these 5 other similar women. Or he's just so far gone that he can't tell the difference anymore. It's not the worst theory in the world, but it doesn't fit. They want to claim that those previous victims were practice runs, dress rehearsals for tonight's main event. But if that were the case, there'd have been signs of hesitation, nerves. There'd have been mistakes. On top of which, guns are impersonal, execution shots even more so. There's no sadism or hatred or intimacy in a single bullet to the heart. Killing your girlfriend or her lookalikes usually is, if nothing else, a lot less sterile. If you ask me. Hey, Morgan, are you speaking from experience? Girl, did you just imply that you killed a girlfriend? Digital autopsy. A criminal defense attorney. Is she a criminal if she hasn't been charged? Maybe she's been charged. I don't know yet. The law enforcement process of locating, bypassing authentication on, and investigating all of a deceased individual's online profiles, commonly used to seek out possible connections to suspects or other victims. This widely utilized practice has been scrutinized in the past by privacy advocates, but many victims' families who lack the ability to find, let alone access, all of their deceased loved ones' accounts argue for its necessity. That would be a really funny conversation to come up of just like every character coming out and being like, yeah, I am a criminal. Like, it's not that weird. I got charged with this minor petty grievance. I got charged with breaking public resin displays. Comparable processes are offered as a paid service by some legal or funerary groups to help next of kin recover or delete sensitive personal data. At times, these services have been marketed as a defense against data criminals attempting to steal the identities of the dead before their accounts are wiped by state processes. Users also frequently search for grave cobbling. What a great word. How to stop stolen identity. How to delete dead profile. Definitely something really illegal in this setting, you're so right. I saw the time of death was 9 p.m. on the autopsy, but do you have a timeline for the rest of the night's events? Can't trust much of what comes out of his mouth, but we've managed thanks to less biased sources. and were pretty confident about what we've been able to piece together from their statements. So they interviewed witnesses. Sounds eerily similar to real police work. The suspect and his girlfriend were arguing loudly with one another starting around 8 p.m. Neighbors were very clear about that part. Couldn't wait to tell us all about the happy couple's domestic problems. Everyone in the building knew they'd been fighting for weeks. As you probably gathered from what you saw in the arcs, there was a struggle. Furniture turned over, glass shattered. Like maybe the struggle was before, but at least some of it was after. Things go quiet sometime before 9, and then there's a gunshot. Scrubbers are still scrubbing, looking for audio from the area to get a timestamp, but we heard enough from concerned citizens to be pretty damn sure about the time. Right, emergency services got a burst of calls from the block shortly after 9. No one seemed to recognize the sound for what it was, but the silence that followed was pretty universally alarming. Officers arrive on scene at 9:08 p.m., establish a perimeter, enter through the open front door at 9:10 p.m., and they find your client crouched over his dead girlfriend, his hand covered in her blood. At which point they move to secure the scene and the suspect. Sorry, did you say his hand singular? Your client's modded cybernetic right arm? How modded are we talking about here? Registered with a HOW 85 habilis. It's last year's model. Industrial grade looks like. Says he's spec'd for dexterous manipulation of up to class 4 kPa, which means a minimum grip strength of, well, basically, your neck, without even gritting his teeth. Considering a career change? No, it's not that. It's just, your eye must be very sensitive for you to put the patch back on each time. And here I thought you just had a 14-year-old sense of fashion. You think a cop would cover up her dominant eye because it was fashionable? I actually thought the same thing first time we met. You what? But getting back on track, that arm of his has been in the shop for some time now. I'm not sitting here staring at my hands thinking about what it means left and right. Show me suspect's prosthetic. They're going to argue that the prosthetic arm, based on the robotic comment earlier about the gunshots, the arm was useful in lining up the shot the same way every time, is obviously a line they're going to take, but his left hand is the prints on the gun. Flat's coat, taken by lab techs. But blood on the left sleeve matches the victim. Has Flat's left hand fingerprints on it. Modded right hand. No. Yeah, modded right hand. His right hand was covered in blood, but his left sleeve has blood on it. Getting back on track, that arm of his has been in the shop for some time now. He can't work without it. Money got tight. The arguing? Yeah. When did he put his arm in for repairs? 8 days before HK's first victim was killed. Well, no chance they'll be willing to chalk that up to coincidence. Okay, now, no, I'm connecting why it's confusing. At the time of the killing, our client only had his left arm. That's why I'm confused. Never mind, it all makes sense. His left hand also would have been covered in blood. And he had no right hand at the time of the murder. Your client was arrested on the scene after a preliminary scan found his fingerprints on the revolver and no one else's. A revolver? What kind? The old kind. The real old kind. More specifically, a Calver M54. 6-chambered, 10 mil. Calver? How retro. You don't know the half of it. We're talking steel chamber, real gunpowder, mechanical firing pin, and no tags. No tags? How old are we talking here? Yeah, 24/7 location data, timestamp trigger pulls, safety's coded to owner's biometrics. For the past 3 decades, tags have made shooting crimes very unambiguous. So you're claiming my client used some kind of antique to commit these times. How else do you think he'd have gotten away with it 5 other times? If he tried to buy a gun legit, he'd probably fail the very first psych check. And even jailbroken pieces are only good for so long before update withdrawal sets in. So then, M54, that's model year 2054. A 30-year-old gun. Well, that sure complicates things, doesn't it? In some ways, sure. But pre-tagging firearms are rare. Gotta be less than 1,000 of them left in the whole country, and fewer still compatible bullets. The ammunition would have to be over 30 years old, too. The novelty of his weapon has kept us in the dark so far. But now that we have our hands on it, it's gonna put him away for good. Archive department complained loud as hell about how deep they had to dig. But with the protocols they found, the techs were able to match the rifling marks on all 6 bullets to the gun your client was found with. Rifling marks? Bullets fired from the gun that are marked by the barrel's shape. It's kind of like the fingerprint for a gun. So if all 6 bullets had the same rifling marks, we know that they were all fired by the same gun. It's not as plug and play as tags are, but it's equally precise science, I assure you. Maybe this is just my question everything police tell you brain, but I'm pretty sure rifling marks aren't that cut and dry. And if that's not damning enough, the spent casings from the other 5 shootings were still in the chamber, without even needing to reload. The caliber your client is found with is the gun HK used to kill 6 women. No way to lawyer around that. An untagged gun, just being anywhere near a weapon like that could warrant your arrest. Yeah, that's my default assumption is this a thing cop shows say is objective? It's probably not objective, and I don't think I've been wrong yet. Being found by the police over a dead body with an untagged gun used at 5 other crimes is just... To summarize then, you believe that my client fought verbally, then physically with his girlfriend, and then he retrieved this weapon and shot her. Yeah, pretty much. How did he look when the officers found him? Guilty. How was his affect? Quiet, detached, stiff? Not exactly the picture of a grieving partner. That reaction may have lost him points with the cops, but beyond that, people react to loss in all kinds of unusual ways. So long as the police are suspicious of you, there's no right way to grieve. Okay, we got lots to read. My fiance is talking to my cat behind me. I think it sounds like my cat followed her quietly downstairs and then screamed directly behind her. I think my fiance just got scared by my cat. The symptoms of shock, grief, just generally being surprised, describing being nervous because you're being questioned by the cops, you know. Net scrubbing, the macro scraping all unencrypted data in a given time and place, refers to the process of scouring all available data posted on the net within a certain time frame and location range for evidence of a crime, an increasingly common technique for police departments, corporate investigators, and occasionally public relations firms. It's insane how, every concept that doesn't exist yet I've seen in this game, I'm like, oh yeah, that tracks exactly how things are gonna go. While the brute force work is performed by automated dependents, either digital or physical, experienced human supervisors must establish strict constraints in order to produce usable results. Speaking of extremely timely, of too real, yeah, it's totally fine to use this technology. We have people checking it over afterwards. It's only used in the concept art phase. And interest in the practice spiked when Senator Bancroft positioned it as a key pillar of his party's law and order platform. But pollings indicated voters rarely held a strong opinion on the process, and the topic has since faded from political discourse. Body modifications. Here we go. Talk to me about posthumanism. A term that may refer to cybernetic prosthetics, artificial implants, neural enhancements, or any combination of the above. While body modifications have been seen throughout history and across a wide range of cultures, the modern body mod movement is differentiated by a shift from intrinsic factors, expression or identity, to extrinsic motivators, job opportunities, technological benefits, improvements in physical or mental ability. Historically, mods have been classified based on which section of the user's spinal cord the interfacing occurs at, thoracic, lumbar, or cervical. But this system does not account for mods which interact directly with the brain. The increased prevalence of so-called above-the-neck modding in recent years has led to several corporations and medical organizations proposing their own new classification systems, but so far none have gained much traction. Can you return mods? Can you undo mod surgery? Best reviewed neural implants 2086. Calver, gun. A manufacturer of civilian firearms from... Where are these search terms happening? Search results in what? You getting the kebab? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Do they want... Are you talking like... It's... So... Google? Like in-universe Google? Wikipedia? That's what I'm curious about, is what platform is corroborating this data? Like, knowing how much this game has already been thinking about this stuff, I'm sure it's gonna come up later. A manufacturer of civilian firearms from 2031 to 2062, when it was bought out by Thortec, an acquisitions group specializing in security and national defense, now a subsidiary of the Lockcoon Defense Corporation. It might be Chun? I'm not sure whether they're trying to... I don't know enough about Chinese pronunciations to know how you pronounce that with Chinese phrasing. Cyberpunk 77 mod, where a character mods out their body a lot, and the meme is someone drew him with a kebab machine in his chest and stomach. Whoever gets the kebab machine is fucking rules. Kebab on the go, great idea. You can just always have a little bit of delicious donair meat. Get me a little refrigerator in my thigh so I can store some sweet sauce in it. Though no guns have borne the Speaking of fiance commentary, she said my thighs are too little, to which I say, you're probably right. And then she complained about sweet sauce because she doesn't like sweet sauce, and I just gotta say, sweet sauce is one of the best things to come out of Halifax. No guns have borne the Calver branding since production halted in 2060. The once iconic brand was briefly revived in 2071 Q2 with a series of video game memorabilia tie-in promotions, meant to increase in-game item sales before discontinued in 2071 for failing to increase in-game item sales. Yes, I use it for cooking the kebab. I open up my chest and reveal the kebab in my chest, and heated mantis blade off a slice. Perfectly cooked every time. More specifics about the revolver. Bears fingerprints matching Carlos Backer's left hand. I'm going to assume that this rifling mark comment is correct. As far back as 2051. I'm going to go ahead and assume the gun was used in the other murders, but like the killer wore a glove. Like I can disprove that easy. Checking my phone here, and I have to say, you've done a pretty admirable job keeping the details of HK's crimes a secret. The less reputable sites are doing some real journalistic acrobatics trying to piece together a story. Yeah, top 11 theories on who hurt HK was a real weighty read. It says 99%, but rifling marks surely aren't that objective. It's not just journalists, though. All kinds have been emboldened. The rifling marks, so the gun was definitely used in all the murders. The gun having the client's fingerprints on it doesn't mean anything. Because if the same gun could have been used for the murders, but if somebody else did the murder with a glove on, it would leave the defendant's fingerprints on it. If he picked up the gun at any point, such as when he found his girlfriend dead in the room. That's what I mean by that. All kinds have been emboldened. The freaks that HK's managed to bring out of the woodwork in just a few weeks. Can you blame them, though? I mean, he's a genuine serial killer. Repeat offenders in general are an endangered species, but he's gotten away with... We know what he's gotten away with. Take a look around us, detective. National DNA registries robust enough that cases never go cold. Cameras on every street, a phone on every citizen. Violent crime at an all-time low and clearance rates at all-time highs. But you're gonna spout some alt-pol bullshit about invasion of privacy? No, I'm not. People are safer now than at any other time in history, detectives. So when someone like Heartbreak does come along... Good point. London's trying to look like he can laugh it off. But pressure from the higher-ups must be reaching its peak. They want, maybe need to see someone charged. And that makes them predictable. Hey, Morgan, you doing okay there? You smell some blood in the water, girly? Yeah, well, even if there's nothing standard about HK, Department SOP still dictates we starve the media for case details. That way, when we do feed them, they're grateful for whatever scraps they get. But we can't take all the credit this time around. Homicide's tight-knit and tight-lipped, but it's not like there's much information for us to leak in the first place. That's useful for me. And why's that? Because none of the shootings were caught on the opt-in crime surveillance system. How is that even possible? I know that there are some rough areas in the lower wards, but Optics is watching every other street in the entire city. You're saying you haven't seen this killer on camera once? You'd think we'd have let him kill 6 people if we did. I understand your concern, ma'am, but Optics is only what it says in the name. Private surveillance systems signing up to feed into the state security network. It's not perfect. Just another one of the many public safety tools in our belt. Yeah, they really nailed that one just ever so slightly ahead. It's not meant to be perfect, it's meant to help us solve crimes. Or at least act as a deterrent. One would hope so. Fat chance, deterrents are for war rooms and board meetings. Anyone crazy or desperate enough to commit a crime in a city like this couldn't care less about anything as vague as the consequences of their actions. It's like a safety blanket, one with very few holes left in it. But it does have holes. Patching up those remaining holes takes effort, and that effort usually means rebooting the system. There's all kinds of technical details and digital bureaucracy involved, but the end result is that there are occasional, localized blackouts, and the math used to schedule them is not impossible to predict. I see. But those windows of opportunity are small and short. Taking advantage of them requires specific knowledge. You'd need to be involved in law enforcement, pub data, or city planning. They'd have mentioned it if my client was a cop, and he wouldn't have needed a public defender either. His file says he's modded for heavy mass manipulation, not tech interfacing, so that just leaves city planning. So does he work construction for the city? HK is only struck at times and locations where optics would be down. Even with the devil's own luck, it can't possibly be coincidence. Wait, so you're saying when this woman was killed? Yeah, there was a blackout from 8 to 9 tonight. Right on schedule, so to speak. And it included the area surrounding the victim's apartment. So, would there then not be crumbs from that? I don't know enough about crumbs yet. What about DNA from the other crime scenes? Was my client a match? There's been no blood, no saliva, no suspect DNA at any of the crime scenes. No footage and no forensics. Also, no motives, tampering, or witnesses. It's been like hunting a damn ghost. We didn't even have a murder weapon. Until now. Finally, a lucky break for the boys in blue. Scanners, cams, drones, forensics. No matter how you dress it up with tech, all detective work relies on one basic assumption. People make mistakes. But HK is the kind of monster who doesn't make mistakes. Only reason we caught him tonight was because he finished what he'd set out to do all along. So was my client on the list of suspects before tonight? Weren't you listening? There was no list of suspects. We questioned some X's, a few CIs. Someone even spoke to one or two unlisted at some point. Nothing came of it. There was talk about starting on some kind of psych eval or something, but I never expected much to come of that. There's just not enough there to work with. In other words, the only thing they have, the only thing they could have to link my client to those killings is the murder weapon. If I can jostle that keystone, then the rest of their case should start to come loose as well. We got more terms. We got more Google to read. Opt-in Crime Surveillance System, Optics, aka FLOC, is a partnership program between the state and private enterprises that allows for the free sharing of surveillance and security data to better promote and preserve public safety. Accessible through state employee logins or private partner accounts, Optics Smart UI allows users to search through and collate footage from a city of tens of millions in just a few simple keystrokes. Optics is frequently cited in state reports as one of the most effective tools for reducing crime, and footage from Optics often serves as key evidence in criminal proceedings, where it is considered admissible by default. See People v. Irawan. Admissible by default is annoying. There's like this assumption that this data is neutral and objective. Public safety measures in my area. Daily security level. Hey baby, you got public safety measures in your area? Heartbreak killer. We encountered an issue while processing your request. Hey there, it looks like you're trying to search for a term related to ongoing investigation. Until authorities have made their findings public, results may be heavily curated or temporarily unavailable. Read more about how we cooperate with authorities to combat disinformation here. I don't wanna. Like at this point, I kind of feel like the corporations already have more information than the state, really. By the way, I couldn't help but notice that you're light on staff. It's 3 in the morning. Were you inspecting a parade? I thought there'd be at least a few androids around. Aren't many androids in any police station this week. Not while Barras is renegotiating contracts. Contracts with Noble? Good guess. Hardly. They're the biggest robotics corp there is. Could spend all day in Center City without leaving their office's shadow. Yes, we're very fortunate to have them headquartered here. Saves us money on shipping at least. But these talks never last that long. I'm sure they'll be back to writing checks for Noble ads by the end of the month. Even with Noble pushing those warm androids? Warm. Ugh. Might as well call it the adult line. Might see him in the bigger departments or out on patrol, but not around these offices. Warm or cold, there's no such thing as an android detective. Yet. Yeah, really? You really think that'll happen? We already use ads for patrolling, securing the scene, pacifying crowds. Wet androids is the worst. But you know what would be worse than wet androids? Damp androids. Doesn't seem like that big a stretch to me. You're joking, right? Android detectives? We already have cybernetic detectives. With all the pain we go through getting witnesses to talk to us. With your warm personality, I can't imagine. A cop knocks on your door, starts asking questions, you're going to be put in a bad mood. An ad knocks on your door, calls you a degenerate criminal in a synthesized voice loud enough for the whole neighborhood to hear. Damp dolls? I don't know, sounds kind of hot. You're going to start posting shit that'll get you put on a list. Well, we certainly don't want that. But flesh and blood witnesses are becoming less and less common anyways. Cameras, sensors, satellites, we already get all our facts from machines. Give it a few more years and it might make sense to let machines do the investigating too. The Android Detective is the best part about that game though. Despite everything, I did find that quirky little detective a little endearing. Mainly because I find Twin Peaks endearing, and he was just serving, what's his name? Kyle MacLachlan. He was just serving Kyle MacLachlan in Twin Peaks. The police union wouldn't let that happen. She needn't have specified. It's the only real union there is anymore. Thanks for the chat, detectives. I think I understand the background well enough now. Candidly, I see the same strokes you do, and the picture it paints isn't pleasant. But even so, it seems a bit unrefined to be brought before a judge, don't you think? Hey, it's only our job to catch the bastard. The DA is the one who gets the conviction. Besides, we're not exactly going to have to work real hard to convince anyone of his guilt. And why is that? Because we found a handwritten confession at his desk. Okay, that might be bad. That's, unexpected. I'm sorry, you're now telling me that he wrote a confession? Has it been verified? Not yet. We have to muscle past everyone in fraud and disinfo to get the front of that line. Why bother? The note's covered in his fingerprints. There's a copy in the discovery data, but I should warn you. It doesn't exactly make for light reading. I'll have to manage somehow. I need to see this confession for myself. Sorry for everything. Can't say it enough. Didn't mean to hurt you or do what I did. Did not want any of it to happen. Can't stay in control when I get mad. When I'm not in control, I hurt people without meaning to. Wish I hadn't broken them. Didn't mean to at first. But I was hurting. Wanted you to hurt too, but didn't want to hurt you. Words aren't enough, I know that now. I'll take responsibility and do what I've been avoiding. Please forgive me. That was difficult to read. Barely legible, in fact. That's severely illegible. I can't get any information out of that little icon. Well, got a spin on that? No need. But it's a confession. Not a convention that he signed, though, is it? Also, it doesn't say I'm going to kill that woman with a gun. Not yet. And not one he intends to sign anytime soon, considering that he asked for representation. Yeah, the most wanted man in the city asked for a lawyer and got you. Guess you're both lucky. Hardly. I just happened to be awake when the call went out. But I'm not so flush with work that I can afford to turn tail now. There's that phrase again, flush with work. So if you don't mind, I'd like to go and speak with my client. What? He's not still handcuffed in there, is he? Look, counselor, with all due respect, we have strong evidence pointing to that man being responsible for 6 murders. 2 hours or so in cuffs isn't cruel or unusual. And that's for your safety as well. It's kind of you to worry, but I doubt I'll be in any danger. He's killed 6 women. None of them were redheads. Seriously, though, I'd like to speak with him alone now. Camera's off if you don't mind. Mike's on or off is your counselor. But we'll be watching the feed from right outside in case anything happens. And the cuff that is, stays on. Like, I don't know if she's dyeing her hair. That worried about me? How chivalrous. Yeah, my armor's practically blinding. Gross. I'll start up the unlock cycle. Counselor, just one last word of advice. If you have any interest in his well-being, I'd suggest you help him sign that confession. Not a bad idea. I do get paid either way. But the defense part of defense attorney isn't just for show, detective. I mean it. Did you just threaten my client? 6 people dead is one thing, but he's also caused weeks of widespread terror and public unrest. Putting it another way, he's made the state look bad. That's a capital crime if there ever was one. And even if the death penalty's not actually on the table these days, I can guarantee he's not going to like whatever rehabilitation plan they draw up for him. Look, I've seen the virtual work release program in person, and it's being challenged before the Supreme Court. Yeah, sometimes in the next decade, maybe. Just remember, a plea deal might feel like a loss for you, but if it keeps him from, well, that's probably a win for your client, right? Prison sentences are generally lighter for those who plead guilty, that much is true. It saves the courts a great deal of time and money, and they show their gratitude with reduced sentencing. But no one will ever be grateful towards the heartbreak killer. anyone convicted for killing 6 people, they'll never rest their mind another day in their life. June 5th, 2086. Oh, I can't read my terms. I get so lost. I'm so used to like checking evidence logs and such after. Oh, VWRP also doesn't give us anything, huh? Hey there, due to ongoing controversy following the suspected suicide of the inmate Jay Gallet, search results for this term are temporarily blocked. The classic. So Morgan is just fully grabbing her phone in the middle of conversations, being like, hold on. I'm just typing away. I love it. It's depressing as hell in here. Speaking of her being fucking iconic, they need to liven this place up. Carlos Flat, right? I hope you don't mind if I get comfortable. We got a lot to cover, but this shouldn't take all night. What are you... Look, I already told you people I'm not a cop, Carlos. Furthest thing from it. I'm a lawyer. You're a lawyer, in fact, and I'm here to help you. Yeah, well, they said that too. All of them did. Back there and here, kept repeating the whole ride over. She can shrimp a little, as a treat for us, right? They said they were going to help me, that they knew this was all a mistake. Then they said that I killed, acting like they were on my side. They thought that I could have, It's not their job to help you, Carlos. But it is mine, and I'm here now. He's still in shock. I need more information, but if I approach this the wrong way, he'll just clam up even more. I'm sure you're exhausted. It's probably difficult to think, let alone speak. But I'd like you to try and answer a few questions. The police already questioned you, I'm sure. But they were treating you as a suspect, not as a client. Okay, so what do you want to know? We only get to ask one. I'm probably not actually going to use that save scum. But I want to know about you first. Let's start simple. Something mundane, grounded, and rote. I'd like to know a bit more about you first, Carlos. Something like, what line of work are you in? I'm with City Engineering. Or I was, or I should be. As I thought. The police must be convinced he mapped the optics blackouts using data he stole from work. My arm, I got it slotted for the job. And, Carlos, I'm gonna need more than that. So what do I know? He works in engineering, definitely not a desk job. He was modded for work, and that arm is in custody at the moment. But it'd have to be pretty utilitarian. He doesn't strike me as the type who's enamored with the aesthetics of modding. The young and the restless and the rich, swapping in neon and chrome limbs because they like the way it looks. Or the way it makes other people start looking at them. No, he's pragmatic, grounded, and very unlucky. In which case, I should be too. You know, my brother wanted to mod. Really? Really? I don't even have a brother. He had everything planned out. A whole career path of promotions and bonuses and the upgrades they'd afford him. Then came his 18th birthday present. Test results politely informing him that he's not a viable candidate. That sucks. I think he felt relieved, actually. Seemed like it was a weight off his chest. And a drug schedule he wouldn't have to be on. Like he was glad that he didn't have to choose. Does that make any sense? Yeah, I think it does. I always figured if I'd start at all, I'd start small, a hand or an eye, test the water. Never thought about lobbing my whole damn arm off, but the recruiter was enthusiastic. He said, because of the NCDA, there was financial aid and resources. Of course, that got shit canned, so now me and every other modder is royally screwed. Couldn't even let me keep the tax credit. The new Citizens with Disabilities Act was an amended, not repealed, but I doubt he'd appreciate the distinction at the moment. I worked the tighter spaces, the high volt environments, mostly canopy upkeep. Typical stuff for modders, you know? He's speaking freely now. Don't need to do much more than repeat his words back to him to keep him talking. But the right word choice here or there can still make a difference. You work on the canopy, you must be... We can only pick one, and yeah, it is under a lot of pressure. You must be under a lot of pressure now that the subways are cordoned off. Damn straight, and this crap with Long? Once word got out that the case against him was real, every desk job in the chain became terrified of their own shadow. All of them convinced that internal affairs is going to come knocking if they misplace so much as a paperclip. Everything by the book means no room for compromise, no room for problem solving, no room for engineering. Yeah, I know patience for screw-ups. He's trying very hard not to look at his shoulder. Why aren't you wearing your prosthetic now, Carlos? Yeah, that. Rejection issues starting last month. A lot of sleepless nights. Rejection. Did the therapy not take? Mod therapy, the process of adjusting the human mind and body for the unique challenges and stresses that come with cybernetic body modifications. Typically includes physio, mental technique instructions, and sensitivity training. Depending on an individual's viability or lack thereof, medications and even minor viral tuning may be employed to modify the body's immune response. But improvements made in recent years in medically sterile alloys have greatly reduced the percentage of patients requiring such treatment. It's not like that. I wasn't oozing pus out of my sockets or anything. Then, do these rejection issues have anything to do with your scars? Not in the way you're thinking. I'm right-handed. So those cuts on his face are just from shaving. I never thought this would go on so long I'd have to relearn how to do everything. I mean, the problem started small, trembling, but then spasms. Just oversensitivity, they said, an easy fix. But the problem got bigger. Couldn't let it get that far. You need to be able to trust your own hands when you're on the job site. Drop a cutter at the wrong moment and people could get hurt. So I sat down, made an appointment, and turned in my arm. And watched my case get placed at the back of the damn line. Where did you turn it in? Some mass turnaround chop shop with a waiting list like you wouldn't. It doesn't sound like you're a happy customer. Hell no. I found a dozen under clinics with shorter wait times. But as long as I'm renting and not owning, the manufacturer decides where your arm gets maintenance. And that's why I'm sitting here with this expensive-ass stump for a shoulder. I haven't been able to work in weeks. Bosses were generous enough to say my position might still be there when I've got 2 working arms again. You couldn't buy or rent a replacement yourself just in the meantime? I serve at the pleasure of the state. And they've got exclusivity contracts with Hindi all locked up white-knuckle tight. Hindi? How Industries? How Industries is the world leader in the research, development, manufacturing, and fitting of cybernetic prosthetics for commercial and private use. And we're hiring. We're seeking motivated and passionate archivists, programmers, salespeople, and college graduates with degrees in digital archaeology, cybernetic anatomy, and more. Great. What did we add to prosthetic? Habilis 2085. Average wait list of 40 business days. Sorry, are they saying that lots of this model? User reported sensitivity issues, so that's just talking about his specific case. As I recall, he's registered with one of their Habilis modules. If I took one, we might have more on his profile now. Nope. If I took one more step on site with uninsured tech, forget the fines, I'd lose the down payment and my arm. And I'd never work in the city again. That's crazy. Like, there's not a... They don't have loaners. They don't have, like a swap system. This was last quarter. Maybe I could have worked something out with management, but... Like I said, no one's sticking their neck out for anyone now that Long's in deep hot shit. You mentioned discomfort? There's our flat update. Oh, he looks so nervous. Civil engineer in the canopy. Likes airports, worn shoes, firm beds. Worn like old shoes. Like a true working man, likes his worn out shoes. Dislikes cabs, musicals, and cashews. Favorite flower, poppy. Sizable student debt. Poor luck. Also poor finances. Oh god, do I want more details? Who's wearing cardboard soles? This sounds bad for your feet. Are you in pain? Pain will come and go. It's the itches that kill ya. And the phantoms come back pretty fast when I don't have anything. Arm-shaped attached to me. Didn't they give you something to, well, wear in the meantime? Something the clinics lend out for cases like this? Like at least like a visual, like a prosthetic that we have, right? What they gave me is a dead weight, 3-jointed, landfill bait piece of shit. Sorry, it's a very shitty feeling having a part of your body that you know they cut corners on. It fits, it's compatible technically. I can slot it in and feel on balance again, but the fingers don't bend and the quick twitch motors are way off. That's like walking around with your arm asleep or dead. So, were you wearing it when she died? Okay. Were you wearing it when you were arrested? No, I wasn't. But I'm pretty sure I saw the police bagging it as evidence, so can't have gotten too far. So Detective Reyes was being quite literal about how he was found. Phantom pain, Metal Gear Solid 5. Pains or discomfort that the brain experiences coming from an amputated part of the body. When a stimuli stops coming from a part of the body that is no longer there, the areas of the nervous system that were previously devoted to processing those sensations reconfigure themselves to still be of use. Occasionally, the brain mistakes this new sensory processing as still being associated with the pain or sensation from the amputated limb. Because of the large mental element of play, therapy for phantom pain reduction necessarily involves psychological conditioning and often the use of prosthetics. Phantom pain has become more widely experienced and understood as a result of the spread of the body modification movement. Debate over whether the modern scene has increased or decreased public empathy for amputees and the disabled remains contentious. Did you mean phantom visions? Phantom visions are caused by faulty installation on cybernetic eye mods, resulting in periodic electrical discharge across the retina. Schedule a consultation immediately if you suspect this applies to you. Users also frequently searched for, my mod hurts, modder itching. Is my arm haunted? That comment about phantom visions fucking rules. For rental use only, they do have loaners, and they suck. 2081, a 5-year-old model instead of 1-year-old. An affordable model, customers frequently cite issues with finger articulation and quick twitch. Records show Carlos Flat was provided this model while Isabilis is being repaired, but he claims to rarely wear it. Oh, he's the Boots guy. I always just heard about Boots theory. I don't think I've seen it attributed to the Samuel Vimes character. Discworld is another one of those things I've been meaning to read for years and haven't. Detective Reyes was being quite literal about how he was found. He had the victim's blood on his left arm only because at the time in question he didn't even have a right. No inconsistencies in the story so far, and he's opened up about as well as can be inspected. But this has all just been a warm-up for the both of us. Now comes the delicate part. Carlos, you and the victim were romantically involved. How long did you two know each other? Right. I've known her since college. We shared a few classes, some mutual friends. I keep checking for ages in the profiles. Always got along. Eventually we just got together at some point. Guess I never actually asked her out the real formal way. Sounds pretty cowardly, saying that out loud. Diane, she was in genetics. Focused her studies in agriculture. It always takes them a few tries to get used to using past tense. Just finished her post-grad work this year. Got hired right out of the gate. Practically headhunted, you believe that? Practically headhunted. Of course she was. Any company'd be lucky to have her, unlike... It was a real-ass job, paid real-ass money, too. Vague estimations of ages. That does avoid the Sid from Final Fantasy XIV secretly being 30 despite looking 50. Like, it just lets the characters exist without trying to nail down what we think their ages look like. So her career was just starting to pan out. Rhea's years had fallen into the mother of all slumps. Where was she hired? Pedigree? No, Perigee Laboratories. I say that like the name matters. It was mentioned. The whole setup's under Harco's umbrella. That doesn't narrow it down. The Harvest Corporation grows a third of the soybeans and corn in the entire country. One client that size, the lab wouldn't need any others. Now, no corporation earns the mega prefix without a little throat cutting, but Harco is about as tame as big businesses can get. Predictable like the seasons. No one's gonna buy that they had some lab tech murdered because of corporate greed. Yeah, she... Victim researcher for Perigee Laboratories. I think it's mentioned. Didn't come up there. Didn't come up in Subways. Maybe that is the only place it's been mentioned. Had she adjusted well to her new job? Yeah, they loved having her there. She never mentioned arguments or disputes, corporate politics getting rough. I don't think so. Not like I've been a good listener lately. But I never got the impression that she... Look, I know no one I know could do this to her. Yeah, anybody at work a brunette? Dyeing their hair recently? And there's nothing she could have done that would deserve what happened to her. It was a long shot, hoping for a disgruntled character from her past to shift blame onto. But with no other suspects, I can't just reshuffle the detective's suspicions. More cards. I'll have to disprove their argument entirely. Thank you, Carlos. That was very helpful. It was? Now, I'd like you to try and tell me whatever you can about what happened tonight. Oh. Start at the beginning and take your time. The details are important. All right, Miss, Morgan. I'll try, Morgan. When you're ready. We were arguing. We had been arguing a lot lately. Arguing about stupid stuff. I haven't been working, haven't been making money, haven't been pulling my weight. I was mad at myself. But more than that, I was jealous of her. Jealous over nothing. Jealous over goddamn money. The reports say you were arguing around 8 o'clock p.m. 8? Yeah, that must have been when we started. We got into it, and I said a lot of things that I shouldn't have. And I said one thing that I really, really shouldn't have. I crossed a line, and we both knew it, so I left. You left? Yeah, I walked out the front door. Thought some fresh air might help me cool off. Help me figure out what to say to make it up to her. Of course, the air wasn't fresh. Just humid, thick like mud, like clam chowder. And while I was pissing away the time, Diane was, did you bring your phone with you or any other electronics? It would be really convenient if he was wearing his prosthetic. No, I kind of stormed off. Didn't even take my key fobs. Didn't even lock the door behind me. With optics down, traffic and street level cameras won't help him. That leaves... Did you go through a checkpoint or talk to anyone with modded eyes? Did you buy anything, cash or credit? No, not even a vending machine. Not even a damn vending machine, huh? I may have met my match. How can anyone be this unlucky? That's quite unfortunate. I just wanted quiet at the time. Wanted to wallow in it, really. Sorry if I don't have all the details straight. My head is... But if my exact route would help, the cams probably... What? What is it? Optics was what? Can that even happen? And there's no other proof that you were out at the time that Diane was killed. Meaning you've got no alibi. This can't... Listen, I didn't do this. I couldn't... Carlos, I'm the one person you don't have to try and convince. After all, I'm your lawyer. So let's just get it all out there and see what we've got to work with. Right. Now, you said you left to clear your head. So what made you come back? I came back because I heard a noise. A loud noise. Didn't know what it was. But it was loud and it scared me. And it came from the direction of our apartment. I was walking back at first, but at some point I must have started running because when I got back I was so out of breath. And when I saw that the front door was open, something dropped in my chest and my lungs wouldn't... You live on the first floor, right? Yeah, first floor apartment, street facing entrance. We were proud of that when we first moved in. Like it was some kind of big deal. From the hallway I saw her, but I didn't realize... I never thought that she was... Lights were off, the whole room was a mess. I thought we had been robbed or she had fallen or... There was broken glass. The struggle happened before Flat got back. Furniture knocked over. And she was... I called her name and she didn't move. I checked her pulse and she was still warm. Her blood was warm. And I saw the gun. It looked so heavy, but I thought it had to be fake because I didn't want it to be real. Is that why you picked it up? What? Pick it up? I didn't touch that thing. I didn't shoot her, damn it. Doing what I do, you hear a lot of lies. White lies, blatant lies, hasty lies, bad lies especially. For me, it's always been easy to spot a lie, but it can be hard to know what to do about it. I have all the proof I need in my files, but he's nervous and defensive. And none of this works if he doesn't trust me. If your clients notice that you don't know what you're talking about, they'll stop giving you any credit. You did touch the gun, Carlos. That's just a fact. And we know because of your prints. What? But I didn't do this. I wasn't thinking. I was just... Carlos, all I'm saying is that you picked it up. That's all. Would you believe me if I said I didn't realize it was a gun? If the lights were off... I kind of wish I could look at the ARC's hologram again. But not in a way that would satisfy the police. Still, if all he did was hold the gun... So stupid. I know what a gun looks like, but seeing it in my own home, right in front of... You were in shock, Carlos. You still are. The police came in some time after that. I don't remember much of what they said. Things started moving fast, it seemed like. The rest of my night went probably the way you'd expect. Carlos, you admit to having a verbal argument with Diane, but you said you were surprised to see the room trashed when you got back. To clarify, you're saying that you two never had a physical fight. What? Physical? We never fought. We never fought like that. Did the police say that we did? They assumed as much. Which means they also assumed that the room was disheveled well before the shooting occurred. Considering what Carlos has told me, what else did they assume? What is it? I'd like you to take a look at something for me. The crime scene. Oh. It's an AR module built from data taken as the police entered, so... Right, it's just data, Carlos. No grisly details. Okay. Let me see it. Take your time. Alright, I think I've got it. That's how the police found things. Now close your eyes and think back to how the room looked when you left. Try and focus on what's out of place. Alright, I'll take notes, you just say whatever comes to mind. I don't remember exactly where everything was, but there was a clock on the wall, a mirror on the wall, two vases of a vase and something else. Mirror was upright, the clock was on the wall, the chair got knocked over, the bed got tossed, and the urn fell. Other than that, No, sorry, that's all that stands out to me. I see. Like so? She's really good at this. She's even worse at drawing than I am. What's wrong? Something out of place? Carlos, you need to trust your instinct. If anything seems off, don't be afraid to speak up. It's just, I guess I just assumed your notes would be making edits to the EAR. Well, I suppose that works too. She's upset that he didn't like her drawing. Somebody hurt Morgan's feelings. I think your drawing was pretty good, considering. I'd like to change the subject now, Carlos. Right. Let's talk about the letter that was found on your desk. Letter? What do you mean? I mean this letter here. Do you recognize it? Because the police are calling it a confession. A confession? But this is just a note to self. Pardon? He's right-handed. He can't write properly right now. Look, when we fight, I lose my temper. I say things I don't mean to. So this morning I tried writing things down so I'd have a script to stick to. So I could apologize to her instead of just fighting. Carlos, you say in the note that you hurt them? That's... I broke her fidget tubbies. Her what? Her what? Her fidget tubbies. They're these collectible ceramic character things. They're supposed to be like tactile. You use them as paperweights or clickers for stimming. Or conversation starters. Conversation starters. She loved those little things. They're not worth a damn. You can buy them at any flea market or garage sale, but they meant a lot to her. And I broke them. I mean... I was pissy at the time, but I broke the fidget tubbies. Bro, you can't just go around breaking your girlfriend's fidget tubbies. They have their own little theme and everything. That goddamn piece of shit rental arm. I hardly know where I'm swinging it half the time. Got so angry I just ripped it off and tossed it in my room. That cheap, dusty, worthless... Okay, let's say he did break her Frigiduckies with his replacement arm. What does that change? Nothing at the moment. There's not enough detail in the note for me to prove what his intent was when he sat down to write it. Discarded it after smashing victims' collectibles. He also commented on it being dusty. I guess it is a super old model. That's what he's referring to there. Collectible and fragile ceramic conversation starters. The victim's personal collection was pulverized by Carlos Flatt's replacement prosthetic arm the morning of the murder. This is the mystery debris fidget tubbies. Why didn't they clean up the fidget tubbies? What did Morgan call them? Frigiduckies. There's not enough detail in the note for me to prove what his intent was when he sat down to write it. But if the police insist on claiming it's a confession for the Heartbreak killings anyway. Couldn't even... Okay, so there they are. Commenting on that. Couldn't even bother to sweep them up. I felt so... Alright, Carlos. Thanks for answering my questions. Now, I'm going to call the police back in here and I'm going to get this cleared up for you. What? That's it? That's it? Oh, okay. Although, before I do that, I do have to ask, what do you know about the Heartbreak killer? Heartbreak? You mean that psycho that's been trending all month? I mean, as much as anyone, I guess. I haven't been getting out much, but I'm sure everyone's on edge, a guy like that out there. He shoots people. Through the heart, right? The police have kept the victim's appearances far away from any upstanding news sources. So unless he was already following the murders, Carlos wouldn't notice any resemblance to his girlfriend. I mean, she was shot in the chest, but that doesn't mean anything, right? If he's this slow on the uptake, it's going to be a real shock when those officers walk in here and accuse him of being a serial killer. I'll just have to squash that theory as quickly and definitively as possible. 404, time not found. I didn't realize you could smoke in here. You can't. Technically, I can smoke wherever I want. But for a fee. She is a criminal defense attorney. You're so right. I guess so. Nervous? Don't be. I'm the one who's on the clock. Right. I'm sure this isn't your first time doing this. No, of course not. It will be my first homicide defense, though. Oh. Why does everyone think the first time's so goddamn important? Hey, cheer up. I've got relevant experience in other areas. Oh, and what areas are those? You know, copyright law. You ever gamble, Carlos? No, ma'am, I don't go anywhere near loot boxes. Won't touch the stuff. I meant more like playing cards. Oh, well, none of that, too. I've actually got pretty terrible luck. Could have fooled me. Well, what I do like a lot is poker, Carlos. Poker's nice because even if you're dealt nothing but crap all night long, you can still win, which makes things pretty fun. Okay, so do you have a good poker face? I like to think so. And are you lucky? Doesn't matter, only when the stakes are high. And in this metaphor, we're playing poker and the state's the dealer? If only. No, the state's more like the house. You mean like the house always wins? Yes. They're very good at it. Winning, I mean. That's why they're up there and we're down here. That's why they're the house. So what do? We quit right before we make it big. We play the cards we're dealt as best we can. Win more hands than we lose. Keep it up, and eventually someone will come over and tap the dealer on the shoulder and whisper something in their ear. And then we'll be politely asked to leave. That doesn't sound very triumphant. The house always wins. So our definition of victory is more like, don't lose. Thanks, Morgan. But I guess I was more asking, like, what should I say? Just leave all the talking to me. So that's the strategy. What's up? You know, there's a saying about gamblers with strategies. Yo, ready to confess yet? I swear I saw more evidence updates. Clearly I didn't. Because I already woke up the DA. Already? She must be new. District attorneys have final say on whether or not... Okay, that was a misspeak, but district attorney sounds fucking awesome. Have final say on whether or not a case is brought to trial. Only fair, since they're the ones who end up having to actually prove the damn thing. Most of them prefer simple guilty pleas over long, protracted trials. And they all dislike having their time wasted. Unfortunately, then, you'll have to call them back, because my client is not guilty. And frankly, I'm not even sure you have enough to hold him here. Right. What she said. You've got a weird sense of humor, counselor. Different generations, I guess. Before my time kind of thing. I'm very serious when it comes to defending a man's innocence, detective. Counselor, we have your client's written confession. His written confession. Let's start there. Okay, we'll be happy to. The thrust of every argument starts with the facts, what's already known and agreed upon. Public knowledge for every player at the table. It's pretty simple, counselor. Real paint-by-numbers stuff. See, we found a note at his apartment, with his fingerprints on it, apologizing how he hurt them all so bad. Now, how are you planning on spinning that? Those are the facts. But I've been building up my hand all night, and I've got the weapons to answer anything they try and throw at me. Well, My client did write that note, and it was an apology, but not for murder. He was apologizing for analyze the facts as they're laid out, then review the responses in your hand. Select the card that best answers the argument and place it in the slot on the right. You can mouse over your opponent's portrait for a reminder of what key point you're answering. Well, okay, this is really obvious, but it's the debris of the fidget tubbies. He was simply apologizing for this. The hell is that? I found myself asking that exact same question. What are we looking at here? Something from the crime scene? This diagram of the room, it's created from data you captured, right? Pure non-GMO augmented reality crime scene data, yeah. What's non-GMO? Not much these days. Notice anything out of place? Yeah, the whole room's full of busted shit. It's the scene of a murder. Full of busted shit for sure. But I was more referring to the unidentified ceramic debris found on the western side of the room. The hell is that? Ceramic debris, huh? Sorry, London. It was kind of low-key. Everybody rolled over it. Everybody's a little too young for London's dad joke, I think. Also, they're both way too serious for it. Must be from the vase that got tossed. Actually, that's not possible, because that vase wasn't damaged. It's not possible for debris to have come from that vase. It is still pristine. How is that possible? That the vase is pristine? The lady at the garage sale told me it was old and delicate. Damn it. The one time I try and thrift shop on my own. Well, so what? What does it even matter? If the vase doesn't have a scratch on it, then the debris must have come somewhere else. Carlos, we're doing the talking. Carlos, you're the pretty face beside the gambler at the table, here to show off and distract people. A badass is busy playing poker. That debris is what my client wrote that apology over. You're saying that the confession was his apology for not vacuuming? I am, because that pile of rubble is all that remains of the victim's collections of fidget bobbits. Fidget tubbies. Flat. Why are you playing their theme song? I thought we agreed you were shutting the fuck up. What he said. Mr. Flat broke the victim's ceramic figures by accident. And this impassioned note to self was just his attempt at scripting out of an apology. Can you prove that? We're taking this seriously? As much as I wish we weren't. We're all in agreement that my client wrote that note. And we can all plainly see that there's ceramic debris at the crime scene. Now, since it couldn't have come from the vase, it must have come from those things. Simple, right? The hell are you on about? The entire room was trashed, as the arc clearly shows. Those fidget tubbies must have gotten pulverized during the struggle, too. You're really gonna claim he sat down to write an apology for breaking her toys after gunning her down? Not a bad train of thought, but I can do better. No, those collectibles were destroyed much earlier than that. And there's proof. Just take a closer look at the rental you took into custody. Ah? One swipe of your finger should show exactly how devastating it was to the Fickle Buddy ecosystem. It's fidget tubbies. Whatever. You did take it into custody. I'm sure your techs found ceramic debris on it, yes? Now that you're mentioning it. Fine, whatever. He broke them with his arm while he was killing her. Happy? Overjoyed because even a cheap arm's got an operating system that had logged the last time it was worn, right? Right. See, I happened to spot a footnote on the lab report. Ever so brief type. The text didn't update properly there. The rental hadn't been used since the AM. Whose side are you on, old man? It's gotten pretty late, sunshine. Just trying to save us all some time where I can. Well, thank you for your service. Well, thank you for your service. Opposite but equal energies. I love it. Are you seriously buying this crap? Just look at how scrawled, how panicked that note is. You expect me to believe he was that upset over a fidget tubby collection? One that hasn't even been graded? Ma'am? Fidget tubbies are worthless. They said so in the dialogue. Setting aside Detective Ray's surprising depth of knowledge when it comes to collectibles, are they putting them in PSA sleeves? Do they have like PSA grading boxes for the fidget tubbies? Is 2086 Logan Paul unboxing blind boxes of these to try and find the super rare fidget tubby from Gen 1? You're correct. They held no real monetary value. It would be odd for Carlos to be so shaken over their loss. But so what? So what? After all, that's not panic you're seeing on that page. No, the reason that note looks the way it does is because Carlos is right-handed. Yes, I am. Did they not know that? He's just... I mean, I'm not this man, but I would get pretty well that upset if I broke my girlfriend's dolls. Not dolls, but we'll go with One Piece boats. That's a thing I would get. If she didn't immediately shoot me through the heart, I would be crying and writing scrawled out notes. Shouldn't that be on my permanent record or something? They don't have a permanent record. You're out of school, Carlos. You talked about graduating. So the reason that note looks like Asylum Wall scribbles is because he had to use his left hand to write it. I tend to think better writing than typing, and I need to get used to using my left anyway. I just thought it could be good practice. Taking that into account alongside the ceramics, your slam dunk confession is looking about as watertight as a fishnet. Okay, fine. Forget about the confession. Congratulations, counselor. You've established that your client's remorseless. Now let's get back to the reality of the situation. Here are the facts. We found your client at the scene of the crime, wearing a coat covered in the victim's blood, right next to a big old goddamn gun that just so happened to have his fingerprints on it. That's right, that coat is... What? You're gonna claim it's not his? That he actually wears an extra small? She's trying to bait me in her typical low-key fashion. As arguments flow, you won't always have the upper hand. Sometimes the best you can do is hold your tongue and avoid overcommitting. Try and lose as little credit as possible. She must have something, no sense playing into it. Something you'd like to ask me, detective? I'm just curious, what'll it be next? You're gonna tell me he actually wears an extra small? No. Gee, Carlos, do you? No. Yeah, sure there's no evil twin you've forgotten to mention? No, I'm afraid not. Not even gonna go for a mysterious third party at the scene of crime? To prove his innocence, I will need to get there eventually. But going there now without hard evidence... I have no evidence of a third person at this time. Damn right you don't. It's clear as day in the arcs. No evidence of anyone but Carlos being there that night. There's no evidence that... Yeah, there's no evidence. Is the thing. You can't prove something that... You can't prove something's non-existence. I've read Umineko. Some of it. We're not contesting any of that, detective. My client freely admits to holding that gun. He picked it up in confusion after coming home to find a brutal crime scene, which was not smart. Hey! But not illegal either. And that's all? He had her blood all over his clothes. Yes, he did. Right? Do you have those clothes on hand, by the way? The lab finished with them a while ago. What are you getting at? It'll be easier to just show you. Would you mind getting them for me? You know what? Sure, I could use the fresh air. Stinks of bullshit in here anyway. And here I thought the room smelled like Psst, Morgan, what are you doing? My coat's covered in her blood. So doesn't that, like, make me look really bad? Just relax, Carlos. I'm pretty sure that's impossible. You're innocent. And that means that having more evidence will always help you, not hurt you. Really? Really? Not really. Definitely not. Plenty of innocent people in prison. People with bad luck, or bad lawyers, or the state really motivated against them. People shouldn't count on the truth to come out easy. More often than not, it takes coaxing. What was it that it reminded me of? All right, here it is. It reminds you of smoking, London? One bloodstained jacket, fresh from the lab. So what's your angle? You gonna tell us this is actually just hot sauce? Depends what this text says. The coat the suspect was wearing when taken into custody back from analysis. Blood on the sleeve matches that of the victim. No other details of any forensic significance found. Nope. That would be silly. She actually thought it over. So what the hell's your point? Hey. Sorry, just thrown off by the turn of good fortune. What good fortune? You should thank the detective for bringing you your jacket, Carlos. She's just proven your innocence. My client was arrested wearing this coat. He would have been wearing it at the time of the murder. It has the victim's blood on it, who we know died when she was shot in the heart by a gun that happens to be an old world pre-tagging firearm. And so this coat proves he couldn't have been the shooter because there's no forensic evidence on it. There would be gunpowder flash on the coat. Sense happens to be key here. I just need to draw their attention to what they can. I think they mean the smell of gunshot residue. Just do me one favor here. It's detective. Tell me what you smell. I don't smell anything except dry blood. Exactly. The coat smells like blood, but doesn't smell of cigarette. That's what I've been smelling. London, now isn't the time. Yes, Detective London, I was smoking earlier. Could you rejoin the conversation? I've been listening. You wanted me to smell the jacket? If you would. Let's see. Huh. No gunpowder. What? What about gunpowder? Oh, don't blame yourself for not noticing. This was before your time. You can't be more than a few years older than me. But not before your partner's, it seems, because he's an old fuck. See, gunpowder's weak by today's standards, but it's still volatile stuff. Hard to store, prone to misfiring, and when it goes bang, it leaves behind an awful lot of evidence. The hell is she talking about, London? Modern firearms, like the ones we carry, use electricity, magnetism, even air pressure or sound waves. They've got more accuracy, more firepower, less recoil, less noise, and they don't leave behind any residue. Gunpowder residue? You talked my ear off about how difficult it is tracking down a gun that doesn't leave digital traces. But a revolver like this one, it'd leave gunpowder on the skin of whoever fired it for days. So then his coat. If you don't trust your noises, you can check the lab reports. I think if they had found any gunpowder on my client or his clothes, they'd have taken the time to highlight it. Well, whatever. That just means he washed off after shooting her, or he changed his clothes. That's not impossible, but it would be pretty pointless. Ah? His jacket and his left hand were blood-soaked when your officers found him. Could he really go through all the effort to get rid of something as subtle as gunpowder residue, just to get the victim's blood all over himself afterwards? In light of these details, I'd like to formally request that you reconsider the charges Mr. Flatt is facing as soon as possible. Whoa. They're faltering now. Should topple over at any moment. The letter was mostly icing on the cake for them, but that gun is all they had to link Carlos to any of the shootings. So if it looks like he never actually fired the gun, I'll admit things were a little dicey there, but once I was able to grasp the situation, the smaller pieces fell in place easy enough. Not my cleanest work by far, but overall I'd say convenient interruption. What, did they actually manage to find it? Something you'd like to share, Detective Reyes? You're good. Twisting the truth into knots, making the facts work for you. Thanks. But your luck just ran out. Because the net scrummers just found a cam active at this exact moment of the shooting. And right now I'm staring at a photo of the killer. Wanna bet? A photo of the shooter. If she had that, we wouldn't still be talking. But I doubt she's just pulling this out of her ass. She's got something from the scrubbers. We can't prove that they don't have a picture. I'm not sure I follow, Detective. Didn't we establish that there was an optics blackout during the shooting? Sure, there was. But this isn't from optics. Good thing I held my tongue. As I thought, the scrubbers must have managed to dig up something from outside the network. Which means... Party's over, counselor. Feast your eyes on this. Well... Okay, the quality is lacking. Okay, so this could be a picture, the world's tiniest, blurriest JPEG with distortion lines across it. You can't see the face of the killer, but the part I really want to hang in on is the clock in the background, which is about to prove that the murder happened at a different time than they expected, I bet. I've played Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. I know that the statue was really a clock all the time and they hadn't changed the time zone. And yet, there it is. They managed to find a quarter needle of evidence in a whole city block of haystacks. What are the goddamn chances? No, with the scale their tools operate on, I guess the chances are, as always, in their favor. I would download so many JPEGs. The time has to be wrong. The time in this picture is 9 o'clock. But, so the time in the picture is 9 o'clock. If we assume the shooter is... For a brief moment, I was thinking that just the image of the shooter was in the mirror, but that wouldn't reflect the clock. This picture is definitely taken from the clock, just from, like, conservation of details, or taken through the mirror. Alright, this isn't good, but it's a far cry from the worst case scenario I envisioned. You could even say I got lucky, which means the stakes are, well, it's a little bit blurry. Don't look at me, I didn't take the damn thing. Technically, no one took it. Looks like at the time of the shooting, a neighbor was on their phone, probably venting about how crazy the couple across the way was acting. But if their phone was on, its camera would be on. And so we managed to get this shot through the window. Where to begin? Far away, unfocused, ultra-low resolution, zoomed in, blurred and color shifted, and so compressed it looks like it's from another century. Yeah, it looks like this year. It looks like current year. There are tools that could zoom and enhance. Enhance this image any further and I could count the pixels on one hand. And you could kiss its admissibility in court goodbye. You can't honestly claim that you can identify my client from this image. And there's no way in hell you could get this past a judge. Yeah, Let me think about the autopsy report for a moment. Time of death is definitely 9 p.m. So the clock has to be fully accurate. Am I just forgetting to look at... Am I just forgetting how to read clocks here? So the clock isn't visible from the window is a big thing. So, notable things to think about. The room got turned over after the shooting, probably. I wonder what HK was looking for. But I think I know a DA that could. Either way, it doesn't seem like your client's leaving this police station anytime soon. That photo... What the hell is happening to me? Think I know a DA that could? Don't be so modest, old man. We have photo evidence of a left-handed shooter standing in the hallway at the same time the whole neighborhood heard a gunshot. And who do we know had their left-hand fingerprints all over that gun? You're referring to my client. You think? We've established that he wasn't wearing his modded arm at all tonight, so he must have shot with his left. Yes, and we've also established that he's weak with his left side. A left side that had no gunpowder whatsoever. Forensics will never be perfect, counselor. Sometimes we miss things. Sometimes you take a walk through the rain, and when you finally get where you were going, you somehow end up dry. But that doesn't mean it didn't rain. All of which is to say, before judge or jury, photographic evidence outweighs a failed sniff test. Carlos is innocent. I know he is. But that photo shows a left-handed shooter. Carlos is innocent. That photo is real. If both are true, that means the photo doesn't show what it appears to show. So, at a loss for words? Never. I'm just confused about one thing. Where was this photo taken from exactly? Exactly? Positional data is only accurate to the nearest public router. If we DNon the phone's owner and ask them where, why bother with any of that? Ballistics and common sense tells us that the perp shot from the room's doorway. The front entrance, oh, this picture is juicy. The front entrance of the apartment faces to the south. There's a hallway that runs back to the bedroom. So this picture is so juicy because it proves that the picture was taken in the mirror. And the clock is beside the mirror, making the 9 o'clock time accurate, but meaning that the shooter was actually firing with it right. We're looking straight at the shooter, so it's pretty obvious that this was taken from across the north window. It wasn't taken from across the north window because the clock is to the right of the mirror. And in this picture, it's on the left. From the north. If this is from the north, then why can we clearly see... It's not that complicated. The neighbor who got the shot must live on the other side of the street. So we're looking into the bedroom from the north window. If she's wrong, I should seize the opportunity to start turning the tide. Actually? I'm afraid that's simply not possible, detective. This photo has to have been taken from the west. What kind of bluff is that supposed to be? The good detectives are misinformed here, and I need to take advantage of it. Time to press the initiative. The hell do you mean this was taken from the west? The autopsy tells us the victim was shot from the doorway. Your officer's ARC's data tells us the precise location of everything in the room at the time they arrived. And now your photo has shown us the exact moment of the shooting. And you can now raise the ante on a hand up to the current max. Answer wrong, but you'll lose more credit. But answer correctly and you can bank up more credit for trickier hands down the line. Altogether, that tells us this photo must have been taken through the west window. As long as you consider... The mirror was upright and the clock was on the wall. Oh, there was an ante-up button I missed. Shit. How far back is this autosave? I got so excited by presenting the evidence. Ah. I want to ante up. I want to go gambling. Let's go gambling. Good thing I remember all of these. Actually, this was the wrong one. That's fine. I lost 1 extra credit this way. These are like some satisfying sped up sound effects. More than most visual novels. I'm afraid that's simply not possible. This photo has to have been taken from the West. This isn't a bluff. I actually know exactly what's going on. This is not a Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney bluff on something unclear. Okay, show me. You can now raise the ante. There's the ante. No, I want even more. There we go. Just take one look at the clock in that photo. The clock? What about it? The clock, huh? Seems like London's got an idea. If he's mistaken, I could pounce on it to keep my tempo high. This photo was taken right before the shooting, so... Wait, don't tell me the time of death is wrong. The time of death is correct. I already thought about this. That's a good question, Detective London. But the answer's no. The autopsy and the clock and the neighbors all agree, even my client, that the time of death was 9 p.m. Right, no mistaking that. So then, what the hell were you on about? There's a clock on the wall in this photo, analog style, and it reads 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock p.m., the time of the shooting. The hell's so special about that? Nothing. There's nothing odd about the time on the clock reads. But do you remember there being a clock in the room? What? Actually, I don't recall there being a clock. That makes sense. You wouldn't recall seeing a clock. Because when the police secured the scene, the clock had already been knocked onto the floor. And the only clock on that room is in the northeastern corner. And my client has informed me that before the crime, it was hung up on the eastern wall. Like so. If you'll observe my excellent diagram of the scene. What the hell is that supposed to be? An artistic rendition. It's very distinct. If you had information on how the crime scene was before the shooting, why didn't you just add that to ARCS? And show you my hand? Just because discovery law compels us to share info, doesn't mean we have to play fair detective. Oh, it must have slipped my mind. I'll do that now. I'll update the court record for you, it's okay. The important thing is, if that clock was on the eastern wall before the shooting occurred, then this photo must be looking through the western window to see it. Don't start getting ahead of yourself. The victim was shot at 9 p.m., the same time that this photo was taken of the shooter. But you want to claim that the clock's still on the eastern wall when it would have been knocked down during the fighting? You've got your logic backwards, detective. Your precious photo shows that the room was in pristine condition at the time of shooting. And there's one other piece of evidence that proves exactly how the cards fell. Glass shards? What about... Oh, I should have anteed up. Nothing much, really. Only they're on top of the victim's body, and not under it. If the glass fell on top of the victim's body, that means she was dead on the ground before the room got trashed. But that doesn't make any sense. Why would anyone trash the room afterwards? It's a good question, Carlos. Luckily, it's the detectives who have to delve into the minds of the criminally insane, not us. Tell me, detectives, were there any signs of a struggle at the other crime scenes? Other crime scenes? No, nothing like that. Those attacks would have been over in a matter of seconds. So what did you think when you saw the mess in the bedroom? That this was personal and that things had gotten complicated. Shit happens. Shit does happen, detective. But in this case, it seems that there's been a general misconception about the order in which shit happened. So what if the room didn't get tossed over until afterwards? He still shot her. And we have a photo right here. And I'm glad you do, detective, because that photo proves my client's innocence. Ah? Proving that it wasn't my client who pulled the trigger is difficult, and more importantly for all of us, time-consuming. Thanks to your photo, I can instead prove that it couldn't have been my client who pulled the trigger. Because the man in that photo can't possibly be Carlos. Like hell it can't. The glass shards prove that the room was pristine at the time of shooting. And we know that until the room was tossed that clock was on the eastern wall. Oh, I just wrong voice acted that. Whoops. Which means that this photo of the shooter was taken from the west. Back to this shit? That's impossible. The only hallway in that apartment runs from north to south. The only person with prints on that gun is your client. And the only fact that matters is he used it to murder 6 innocent people. You're a very honest person, detective. Excuse me? That's why you're such a shitty gambler. You've played your cards too early, and now I can steal the pot right out from under you. You're right about the hallway's orientation. You're right about the prints. And this HK figure has claimed 6 lives. But we aren't looking at the hallway in that photo. What? What we're seeing is a mirror. We're seeing a maxed out auntie, the fucking mirror. Oh. Do you recall where those glass shards came from? Yeah, sure, they came from a standing mirror. A mirror that, at the time of the shooting, stood across the room from the western window. But then that would mean, at that angle, from that viewpoint, it would reflect the hallway. So we're not seeing a shooter with a gun in their left hand. We're seeing a killer take aim with their right arm. And as we all know, my client hasn't had a working right arm in a number of weeks. And he hasn't worn his rental since this morning. So I meant what I said about that photo. I'm glad that it was recovered, because it just proved that my client couldn't possibly have committed this crime. That should be the end of it. Except, it looks like Detective Reyes really is a novice gambler. Sunk cost has got its teeth in her now. She can't quit before she hits it big, clawing up her spine, whispering wounded pride in her ear. It's a cold sweat, hot palms kind of fever. The impotent, irrational fury of losing something you thought was guaranteed yours. But luckily for you, Detective, I'm well versed in shock therapy. You look dissatisfied, Detective Reyes. That's one word for it. Then allow me to put a nice bow on everything for you. In summary, here's a comic book rendition of the crime. My client's so-called confession was just a note to self. The police found him in shock, reeling at the death of his girlfriend, and arrested him for being next to a gun he forensically couldn't have fired. After being confronted with these facts, you received photographic evidence of the exact moment of the shooting, and instead of utilizing said photo to track down the real killer, you tried to claim it depicted my client, a man without the requisite limb, standing in an architecturally impossible hallway. He could have had a backup arm. He could have stolen one. A little stubbornness can be charming, but this kind of desperation is ugly. It's getting late. Time to bare my fangs. A bit. That's the best you got? Even a bare bones prosthetic off the black market needs to be attuned to an individual's nervous system. He'd have to bring it into a clinic, which would have had a left record in his shoulder OS, a record you won't find. And he'd still have to somehow have gotten rid of it before the police arrived. SOP at the scene of a violent crime calls for full spectrum scanning of the entire building and 100 meters around it minimum. So where, Detective Reyes, did he manage to hide a cybernetic arm from your drones in the time between the shooting and his arrest? Well, anything to say for yourself? Any objections? Detective? God damn it! Hell yeah! This game fucks! So, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney is one of the best mystery video game series of all time. And it frequently has these moments where you're like stringing together the evidence, and Phoenix is not at the point before. And the devs here clearly understood that it's really cool when Phoenix does it, but he's this dorky weirdo. So if we just made the most badass lady possible do it, it would be impeccable, and they were right. Show me your hand, Flat. You're uncuffing me? In light of the evidence, we have no reason to hold you. And now I gotta go call the DA and tell her I made a mistake. You take the gambler defense attorney who believes in their client, who likes pushing on a bluff and doesn't always have all the pieces, and you turn them into a woman. And you make them frighteningly competent. Oh, thanks, Sneaky. I fucking love Ace Attorney. Ace Attorney is some good shit. I love a good mystery. I love a good puzzle. I love when the characters are like this. Like, they're just, like, elevated and dramatic. Like, it makes for some really cool ways to make the mysteries. Like, sure, they're all 2D and kind of flat, but, like, it just lets them make these, like, the emotional stakes so high and the way they cut each other really fun. Listen, kid, you should know. Detective? Lost my train of thought. But hey, your attorney's a real tiger, and she just fought like hell for you. Yeah, sometimes just like having the puzzles scroll past and then you can think about them as you go is pretty great. That's how I enjoyed La Milana the first time. We love a kind of woman who does a noir monologue to herself while smoking in the rain. It's pretty fucking great. Make sure you thank her properly. Public defense doesn't pay that well. I don't think he doesn't pay that well either. I don't know if he can afford to. Yeah, that's kind of you to say, detective. But my work is its own reward. Sure. I feel exactly the same, counselor. What happens now? I'll have to speak with the DA about the dismissal, and there's still some paperwork we'll need to go through. But basically, you're free to go. Congrats! You get to leave the casino with your kneecaps intact. Yay! Yay? But what am I supposed to do? The detectives will continue their investigation. Their investigation into heartbreak, huh? Yes. When the authorities are satisfied with their examination of the body, she'll be handed over to the next of kin. And then you can make funeral arrangements. No, that's not what Diane being gone is bad enough. But a serial killer? It's like she died of the flu. It doesn't happen anymore. People die of the flu all the time, but I know what you mean. I can't make sense of it. So what am I supposed to do? Hell if I know. There are some contacts I could give you. Services, professionals, doctors. No, you've done more than enough for me. When you got here, I was too tired to even defend myself, to try and convince them that I didn't. You saved me. Thank you. You're welcome, Carlos, but it's my job to... No, I mean, thank you for not asking. For not asking if I killed her. Oh, Carlos, I didn't need to ask. I knew you were innocent from the start. Of course he was. After all, I am the heartbreak killer. Oh, shit. You suspect that. I did suspect it, but I didn't think they would confirm it. So that's going to be roll credits immediately, isn't it? The blood's always different. Heart's always in the same place. Easy to find, hard to miss. But the blood's always different. A flowering stain unfurling towards an invisible sun. A perfectly unique bloom, only one for each of us. A Rorschach test with a singular universal meaning. Vitality at its climax. Bursting forth into a red fractal consisting solely of an infinite the end. But the comical thud of a body hitting the floor has a kind of lowbrow appeal. "8:59 p.m., June 4th, 2086. They're giving me so much more of this than I thought they would. I love how Chuni she is about it. She's so high on her own bullshit. Okay, fine, I'll read this. That's me. That's me. I'm the killer. Bullet number 6 of 6. The gun's empty. It's useless to me now. May as well leave it. Feels like a waste, but whatever. Finding the ammo was almost enough of a hassle to outweigh the advantages. I could sell an untagged gun for a fair bit of cash, but cash can't buy you peace of mind. Oh, don't look so surprised, lady. Oh, they know, huh? Occupation criminal, defense attorney. Of course she likes guns. December 26th. I was wondering, I've never had Mapo Tofu, but I play Fate Grand Order, so I have to fucking look at it all the time. And I just gotta say, are they implying she's like fake priest? So criminal, defense attorney versus criminal defense attorney. This is so cool. This is fucking awesome. Don't look so surprised, lady. Moping around in the dark here, must have only been able to see my silhouette. Did she think I was her boyfriend, back for an encore of that enthralling conversation? Can't ask her now. Hey, yeah, did you hear that? These old pieces are so goddamn loud. People aren't even familiar enough with the sound anymore to know to run the other way. Probably aroused half the neighborhood. But I didn't see anything I could use as even a partial suppressor on the way in. Could they really not afford some throw pillows? I used the other 5 bullets in outdoor spaces and small spheres of blind opportunity that the city's eyes couldn't think to pierce. Cramped places, usually full of trash. But this room, as cheap as it looks, is at least clean, organized even. So the corpse adds a certain satisfying contrast. Except, there's shit on the floor. By the window, there are broken pieces of something fragile and tacky. You know, fidget-ma-whatsits. It's fine. It's just one thing out of place. Actually, it's not fine. It's actually really irritating. I kick over the stupid goddamn mirror. 5 perfect crime scenes, each of them not a speck of evidence, nothing to go on. And for the final shot, there just has to be some pile of shit in the corner ruining everything. I kick the wall. Something falls from it. Probably more tasteless bullshit. I toss over the chair, knocking the urn. Tear into the sheets with my frustration and try to savor the shredding. If it can't be clean, I'll just have to lean into the messy angle. At least it will be consistent. This was all so stupid. Honestly, I'm not the ego-driven type. In fact, I pride myself on my humility. Now, was it satisfying when the first 3 went down with single shots? Yeah. But so what? I'm not made of stone. After that, I did start to actively aim for the heart. You accidentally 3 for 3'd it? Heartbreak killer? Really? Don't people have anything better to do with their time? What kind of miserable, lifeless voyeurs would obsess over something that's none of their business? It's pretty cool that she doesn't even care about people talking about it. All the threads and breakdowns and the goddamn theory crafting, and all for the heartbreak killer? Sounds like a soap opera villain from a season where the writers were on strike. Unless she just wants it to be cooler. I'd feel insulted by the label, but no, that's someone else's name. They came up with it. They spread it. They marketed it. Heartbreak's got nothing to do with me. He's just some reclusive, lonely, socially impotent loser who shot 6 people because she's so unbothered. Well, I'm sure people will come up with something. that he got rejected one too many times or whatever. Me, I killed those people because I saw them and I wanted to. And I've killed a lot more than just 6. At least the room is thoroughly trashed now. If I had just walked away after seeing that mess by the window, it would have irritated me to no end. And now that it doesn't match the MO of the last 5 perfectly, it'll irritate the cops to no end instead. Yeah. I feel like this game is reading my impulses so much. Good riddance, Heartbreak. You enjoy your 15 minutes in the spotlight. Really savor it. I'm going home. The air's weighty tonight. Thick, energized, like clam chowder. A heavily foreshadowed summer rain I can feel on every hair. But somehow she's dry when she gets home. They call this kind of humidity oppressive, but I disagree. The warm tension on your skin, like in those short moments just after the shower turns off when the steam lingers. Yeah, it's always the most comfortable right afterwards. Maybe there's no disagreement to be had. Oppressive things can be comforting too. Only the guilty ones run. I don't know about that, but I know I've never felt guilty about any of this. And I walk. Sorry, using my left is still... That's okay, you can just initial in those spots. I took a scenic route home, courtesy of our fine city's sprawling public transportation, and got home just after 11 p.m. Had myself a thorough shower, drank a glass of milk. What is it with killers and milk? Did some stretching, made sure my phone was on. Time went by evenly. Around 1:40 a.m., a posting for public defender work came up. Decent rate since it was so late and so urgent. I had wagered correctly that the boyfriend would have enough sense to ask for a lawyer, and enough debt that he'd need to be provided one. Did you mean how to start gambling? How to bet on sports on phones? A gambler with a system must be, to a lesser or greater extent, insane. Yeah, with those... I won't say it. The framing, they know they're here to make the blue sky girlies go wild. There wasn't much competition after 1 in the morning. Okay, where else? Here and here. How did I phrase it earlier? Criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. Why wouldn't I take on a job where I already knew more than the cops? It would have been easy to convince Carlos to plead out. I would have gotten paid the same too. But easy is dangerous. Carlos was, of course, innocent, so his conviction would never be airtight. There would be doubts, questions, appeals. Maybe even fans, depending on his looks. Just ask Luigi. More attention on HK and his crimes. More headaches. A cold case rotting in the very far back of the public's awareness is always preferable to one open and shut in haste. Now, with no more murders matching the HK's MO, there won't be any additional public pressure to find a culprit. Now, Heartbreak can just starve to death, out of sight and out of mind like any other fluke in the system. Almost done. Getting involved with the case this intimately does have its risks. Hell, I might have overdone things here or there. Like lighting up a smoke inside an interrogation room just to make doubly sure I didn't smell of gunpowder myself. That London fellow seemed more fixated on it than I would have liked. But obviously everything turned out rosy. I love that she's miming holding a gun right now. Or puppeting. Both of these are good reads of this scene. Seeing the authorities' failings from the best seat in the house, that's just a bonus. Thanks again, Morgan, for everything. I'm sure Diana's grateful too. Yeah, real fucking grateful for what we've done. Funny, I didn't even know her name. Something the matter? No, sorry, it's just... I was mad when I left the apartment. I know she was too. So when she died... Death was instantaneous, Carlos. I can't imagine that she was in any pain. In fact, I can guarantee she was dead before she hit the ground. No, I know, but I just kept thinking that she must have died angry at me. That she must have died hating me. So are we about to get hit with the Phoenix Wright present one piece of evidence at the end of case to comfort people's feelings? To tell you the truth, Carlos, there's something I've been wondering about myself. What is it? Something I noticed in the ARC's data that I didn't quite understand. A piece of the puzzle I couldn't fit in anywhere else. But maybe you can make sense of it? Yeah, because you still have to, like, bleed. Your brain death has to happen. Your heart being stopped doesn't instantly kill you. Your brain still has enough blood for neurons to fire. She had opened the pillbox for him, something he would have struggled with because he couldn't use both of his arms properly. The pill organizer was found on the victim. She had it grasped in her hand when she died. Obviously, the police added it to the ARCs, but it was quickly ruled irrelevant. Seems like it contained triprexazone, prescribed to help modders with phantom itches. They're small tablets, and those are tricky clasps, too, for a pill organizer. Could be hard to handle with an unsteady hand. No one will ever know what she was feeling when she died. Even if they did, feelings are complicated. You can feel angry, happy, and sad all at the same time, but as far as facts are concerned, it would appear that when she died, what she was doing was setting out your medications for the week. To my eyes, anyway. Long night. That was too far just now. Practically rubbing it in his face. It's not like I care about his feelings. I doubt I'll ever even see him again. But overstepping like that is pure hubris. And hubris invites a downfall, and it's gonna be fucking delicious. So, why did I even bother? It was the last piece of the puzzle, I suppose. I'll just need to show more restraint next time. Though there won't be a next time for Heartbreak. The gun's in custody, there's no more bullets left. There won't be a seventh victim. There won't be any more leads to pursue. The media will move on to their next obsession. I'll move on to my next MO. And no one will ever... Found you! District Attorney Rockford. Sorry, can I try that again? I'm so fried. By all means. Counselor Morgan. Morning, noon, or night, you're always so put together. I don't get it. How do you sleep at night? Pardon? You do white noise, aromatherapy? Whatever you're doing, I need to steal it. God. I must have bags under my eyes dark enough for the dumpsters. Assistant District Attorney Emma Rockford. She's a prosecutor, a lawyer who argues for the state in court trying to prove the defendant's guilt, and she's very, very tired. And despite her sometimes unkempt appearance, she's probably the sharpest person to fill the position in decades. I should know, since I haven't beaten her once. Worse yet, she has the remarkable ability to compartmentalize all that adversarial energy and only bring it out in the courtroom. It's part of what makes her good at her job. And hard for me to read. Should I buy a new mattress? What have they got you doing at this ungodly hour, Emma? Let me just look at my profile on you. But she's only the assistant DA. Eggs? Benedict. She's already endearing. Yeah, December Christmas. I can't think of anything notable about the 7th of July. He's day after Star Wars because he's an old fuck. I can't think of anything notable, but February 14th does make sense. Oh, well, actually, I'm here for you. Me? Your client was a suspect in the Heartbreak killings? That's my case. Well, then you must have been relieved finding out that you won't have to go to trial against me. No? Why would I be worried about going up against you? It's always the unintended barbs with her. So, you're working with those detectives? Yeah, London and the new girl. Reyes? They've been reporting to me in preparation for the trial. Preparation for trial? That seems ambitious. See, sometimes it's a little sometimes it's very, very clear who you're talking about, and sometimes it's a little unclear, and those times are the best. I'm glad it's unclear. This game has it down bad for everyone, and I love it. They've been doing everything they can, but it's hard to catch a killer who leaves behind so little. It's hard to kill while leaving so little behind. So, Reyes told you that they had HK in custody and you popped out of bed all excited to run down here? Hardly. I haven't slept in 40 hours. Too much on my mind. So when I heard about a case with a single female victim shot through the heart, yeah, my ears perked up. But that's about all. Oh? I mean, Carlos Flat, serial killer? The same serial killer that's outsmarted the state for weeks? Oh, me too. Don't worry, me too. At risk of becoming too revealing. She's not using his middle name. He was found with the murder weapon, but I can answer that any number of ways. I mean, my favorite is the photo. That may be true, but then I glanced at the report. You glanced at it? No gunpowder residue on him or his clothes. Right. Too remorseful, too apologetic in that note. Whatever it was about. His dominant arm modded. Oh, okay, it's just gonna go through everything. Documented sensitivity issues. Never could have made shots that clean. Not without getting close enough to leave scorch marks. Not to mention he's too tall for the ballistics entry angles. And probably too heavy not to leave imprints. She got all that from a glance? Good thing we don't have to go up in trial against her. But I'm sure a competent lawyer like yourself pointed all that out the minute you walked in here. Of course. Worst part is she's not even being sarcastic. Yeah, of course it couldn't have been him. Long-term relationship, physically imposing, argumentative, so not the type to bottle things up. He didn't match the profile. Profile? Yeah, she overstepped. Right, sorry, you've probably never heard of it. I know what a goddamn profile is. A profile? Let me just look at my phone. Profile, how to delete. Trying to get your dating profile just right can be a full-time job. Let Valentine take the reign with our automated, secure, and confidential tools that put your better than best foot forward and the sexy back into finding the right match. Valentine's Day GF x Christmas GF. Kind of fallen out of fashion for the last few decades. Not much need to guess about the why when 99 times out of 100 the who is caught on camera. Or before they even leave the house. I had to find some real fossils and oddballs to get advice about how to go about it. But I think I'm getting the hang of it. Completely pseudoscience. It just cops out here with profiles giving us nothing. Well, at least this heartbreak maniac will slow down now that he's lost his weapon. He didn't lose it. He chose to leave it behind. That tells me he's confident. He, and is just also using he, which is, I failed to mention this earlier, is standard practice because it's of like recorded serial killers at least, overwhelmingly male. And it just makes me even more certain that these aren't his only kills. Were there other shootings with the same MO? No, not that I found. Other victims that fit the description? No. But I'm not overly focused on the victim's appearance anyway. I mean, these 6 victims all look like each other, but they also look like a lot of people. That's true. Hell, They kind of look a lot like me. Hey, Morgan, you, do they? You got some feelings about brunettes? Sure, what? Don't you see it? I hadn't thought about it. Point is, no one can kill that cleanly when it's their first time. Getting things like that perfect takes practice. So I know that HK must have had a lot more than 6 occasions to practice, Morgan. That's why I think heartbreak is a misnomer. You've got something catchy. Were they also inspired by Hannibal? I just don't think shooting them in the heart has any particular significance. And anything, it's a testament to their accuracy and their cold-blooded efficiency. The best possible use of 6 untagged bullets. 6 kills guaranteed, no matter what kind of life support mods they were packing. The real signature isn't the bullets or the gun, it's the perfection. That's hard to wrap your head around. I'm saying that these 6 murders were just a fluke, a slip-up, a mistake? Exactly, a mistake. They got too clean, too efficient, and now they've got the public's attention. It's no wonder they're so pissed. Are you talking about the crime scene? Yeah, probably threw the detectives for a loop, right? Based on what you've said, I don't blame them. Whoever trashed that room doesn't seem like the smooth operator you've been describing. On the contrary. I don't follow. This was the last bullet, their last shot. The other 5 were perfect. So if anything was out of place this time around, they must have thrown one hell of a temper tantrum. You make them sound like a child. Childish. And cowardly. And two-faced. I would have described Morgan as two-faced immediately, so yeah. Someone who hates to lose almost as much as they love to win. Your profile tells you all of that? And yeah. Deus Ex is another one of the inspirations I haven't touched. Code Geass is also a beautiful rivalry piece. No, that part's just takes one to know one. Tell me about profiling. So this profiling, it's some kind of investigative technique? The theory is that a crime can tell you something about the nature of the person who committed it. Stabbing, overkill, points to passion, rage, lust. They probably knew their victim. Poison and guns, meanwhile, suggest they can't overpower their victims personally. And then there's the things you can assume about nearly all serial offenders. Childhood trauma, prior criminal record, few or no meaningful attachments. There's a lot of recurring themes in their stories. The detectives say HK doesn't leave evidence. So how much can his crimes possibly tell you? That he's diligent, almost perfect, highly intelligent, painstakingly organized, and with enough criminal connections to get his hands on an untagged firearm. It's rare to see her this animated outside the courtroom. It's almost like she's enjoying herself. A sheltered house cat who's picked up the scent of a mouse for the first time. The lighting sure has gotten real, effervescent in the background while you're thinking about her enjoying this chase. A lone wolf. Lone wolf and cat. Educated, but all her playfully lethal instincts coming to life. Probably overqualified or undervalued. Though I'm not thrilled about the fact that in that metaphor, I would be the... Know what I mean? Definitely. And considering the marksmanship, Morgan doesn't want to be a mouse, confirmed. She does not have a mouse persona. The detective said that HK would have needed insider information on optics. So does that mean heartbreaks in law enforcement? Never in 10 billion years. Oh. Antisocial, independent, despises authority. That'd be like a stallion applying for a job on a merry-go-round. They'd be kicking kids in the head after the first full rotation. Right, that's exactly how I'd put it. What did I say about horses? I said they'd be relevant. There must be some connection to the police, though. Maybe secondary or tertiary. These types can't help but insert themselves. Topping? I do not I don't do anything even resembling that. Morgan does not top. Morgan Facts does not have a mouse persona. Does not top. Ace? Question mark? Wait, if HK is not a cop, how did they know about the blackout timing? Crime meta statistics analysis, probably. Pardon? Take the emergency response times from across the city and map them out. Look for brief spikes and delays. Chart out the dips in... Sorry, technical, I know. But all the requisite data is publicly available. With a map, a spreadsheet, a calculator, anyone could reverse engineer the timing if they wanted to. That is such an unpleasant thought, Emma. So, to summarize, you're looking for a cold-blooded, faceless, perfectionist killer who you think has no persistent MO or victim type in a city with an 8-digit population. Well, good luck. I don't need luck. I only need more information. Well, I'm sure the city would be happy to provide you with more resources. No, Morgan, I need more crime scenes. Oh. Sad truth is, if Heartbreak walked away today, I'd never catch them. Only way my net narrows if they keep piling up bodies. Not a very fair trade, is it? No, it isn't. But getting screwed over is a given. It's a deal with the devil. Fair enough. Woof. Okay, that rant was pretty morbid and detailed. I need to get out more. Or sleep more. Or sleep less, but harder? You think a higher threat count would help? Don't worry about it. I'm always happy to listen to you ramble. It's a lot more pleasant than having to face you in the courtroom. Sorry, but that's the adversarial process. So, no hard feelings, yeah? No hard feelings. We're both just doing what we do. And definitely not having strong emotions with all of the color shifts, huh? I could use a cup of coffee. How about you? Don't tempt me. If you fall asleep face first onto the table, I won't even take a picture. Okay. Just don't expect this to make a difference next time we're at each other's throats. Uh-huh. Heartbreak won't claim any more victims. In 2 weeks, the media will have moved on to the next sensation. And the police will have moved on to cases they actually stand a chance of closing. It's what people do. But Emma is different. She'll set it aside and work a dozen other cases, never bringing it up. But in a private corner of that frustratingly sharp mind of hers will continue to whittle away at it. Never finishing, but never quitting either. So I can't afford to take my eyes off her. As long as that's the case, I may as well try to enjoy the view. Uh-huh. Ladies? Lady? I guess they're both flirting. They definitely are both flirting, right? There I was, reading into two women standing near each other. Two boys in any situation standing next to each other, blowjob brothers. Two girls in any situation standing next to each other, lesbians. It's quite simple. Which means you're gonna be living with my friend for a while. For how long? I'm sorry, I don't know the Clam sisters. The Clam Bake Caddies. It doesn't... There's gotta be something that rolls off the tongue just as well as Blowjob Brothers. There's no need to look that upset over it. My face barely moved. It may as well have been a blatant pout from where I'm sitting. Yeah, like that. This friend of yours, they're trustworthy? Absolutely. In fact, I trust them more than anyone. Hey, come on, it'll be fun. Really? Really. Educational, too. I think you could stand to learn a lot from someone like Morgan. More babysitting duty. She's adopted 2 now. Well, the danger has happened. I'm fucking hooked. Also, at Blue Sky, search evil little bug. The Clam sisters could so easily be Splatoon. Much like Nasty Pussy when somebody says, that couldn't possibly be from Splatoon, it's too dirty, you just say, it truly is. Oh god, I'm gonna have to wait. I'm gonna have to wait for more chapters at some point. And he shall appear. To be continued when I buy chapters 1 and 2. You're the smartest person I know, Morgan, when it comes to people. Personally, I think it's cruel to bring something that flawed into the world. You're a criminal defense attorney, and we're at a crime scene. I think I can guess what happens next. I've never stolen anything. That wasn't already compromised. Work hard and the company will have you set for life. And after, too. Can't tell you how many musicians have been screwed over by a big smile and a fat signing bonus. Oh boy, that's still true, huh? We're not gonna read the teaser dialogue. Hello? Just tabbing through to see all of these character portraits. That heartbreak could ever stop themselves. Father said you owed him. Of the Devil episode 1, put it in my veins. An idle mind. Is that gonna be an idle pun? Surely that's already been used in another puzzly mystery game. The level impossible. I'm very true. There is also a there is the devil pun, but I want it to also be an idle pun, you know? I'm a sucker for simping hard. I fall hard for characters. It happens every time. Episode 0 results nearly perfect. I lost a credit that I didn't need to lose, and I think I forgot to ante up at one point. There's completionist playthroughs of this. 33, it doesn't tell you the maximum though. Congratulations. You finished episode 0 with 33 credit. You've unlocked concept art and bonus scenarios. What? Oh, no. What? 35 or 36. Like, I know I spent 1 extra, and I'm pretty sure I forgot to ante up at some point. How does that hair work? Catch me showing up at the hairdresser with pictures of Morgan saying, give me the Morgan type fit. There, he's serving Leon Kennedy. Holy shit. Oh, I was hoping that, like, I guess all of the art is one person. I love that the artist worked in different medium for each. Hello, Mr. Tempest. I am probably gonna do what the devs say. Bonus episodes before episode 1. Hey Emma, you want somebody to help you with that stalking there? She looks fucking evil in this one. She looks so fucking menacing. Fake heart fake. The heart fake killer. I like the neutral they went with, as much as I love whatever this guy has going on. Okay, bonus scenarios are for later. I keep thinking that that is purchase phone charms. All right. Main menu? Save game? Okay, the bonuses are in here. All right. It is bedtime here. It is feed my cats first time here. Thank you all for joining me for this. This was better than I expected, and I expected this to be good, so this game is fucking sweet. We're gonna have to come back to it later. It's on sale? I'm gonna have to think about this. Thanks for joining. This game's style is impeccable. This game's writing is great so far. I'm having a great time. I hope you all come back again soon or next time. Undecided whether it's going to be Myst 4 or more of this, but I promise more puzzly thinking stuff because I've been bit by the bug. Mr. Tempest is sitting just barely out of scritching reach. What a little butt. This little cat. Playing hard to get. Like the Heartbreak Killer. I hope you all have a great evening, and we will see you around. Bye-bye.